everyone's attention. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2020 Foothill Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I want to take care of a few little things right now. The restrooms are to my right around the corner. The bar in here will be closed at 7 o'clock until after the ceremony. There is a bar in the back. And then if you could just, when the ceremony's going on, if you could just avoid walking out in front of the speakers, I'd appreciate that. I'd like to call up Larry Baker right now to do the flag salute and the invocation. Oh, that's a good question. Do we even have a flag? Flag's out there. Oh, it's at the pole. It's at the pole. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. If I could have your attention for just a minute. Can I get everyone to please stand and join me in giving honor to our nation? Okay, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. If I can get you to stand just a little bit longer, I got one more thing I've got to do, and that is to give thanks to our Lord and Savior for this evening. Heavenly Father, thank you for joining us this evening. Please take care of all these wonderful people, our fellow Trojans. Make sure they have a wonderful time tonight and get home safely to their families. Thank you for allowing us to have this wonderful high school, and may it continue in the same vein that we're all used to it and what we got to enjoy in our time. We ask for these things in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
We've got a great program in store for you this evening, and we're going to go ahead and serve dinner now, and we'll be back, start this show at 7 o'clock.
So these third down conversions, one of the storylines Coach Cornford pointed out as being such a key to their success so far. Now all of a sudden it's 4th and 12. Head coach for Foothill, Brandon Deckert, his assistants, Mike Gregg, Leonard Nevels, Randy Maples, amongst others.
If I remember, I think Mata might be the punter here. So you got to be really careful if you're the Trojans at not overcommitting. Watching for the fake here.
Dalen Felix is way deep, and he does punt it, and Felix may get a good bounce here. Let's see. No, it bounces away from him and takes one of those vintage football bounces. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. We would love to thank everybody at Highland High School. Coach Cornford's going to have the principal, Debbie Vikstrom, up here for an interview at halftime. And the assistant principal of instruction is Mindy Carter, the assistant principal of administration, Brad Hull, the great Brad Hull, one of my analysts for our Kern High Network Wrestling, state champion wrestler Brad Hull, Dean of Students Jasper King, Dean of Students Kim Bravo, Athletics Director Justin Finch, and the Activities Director Megan Barber Smith. Thank you, Highland High School. Thanks to all of our superintendents and Stan Green. More on Stan Green later. What a presentation he put on at the BC Athletics Hall of Fame. And thank you, Valley Strong Credit Union, for allowing us to do this in our community. 1st and 10. They pitch it out to Reynolds. Reynolds to the right side, still on his feet. He breaks away again. Man, he got tossed around 2 or 3 times and finally brought down. And Coach, I mentioned it at the very, very beginning of the game, and I mean this as fondly and as kindly as I can say it, but it has been a long time since we called a Foothill game on the road and seen that.
Yeah, that's great for the community. They've really bought into their school and their program. You know, talking to some of the coaches beforehand, that just the way the student body has embraced this football team is just extraordinary. And that's really what football can do for your school. It can kind of set the pace for the year.
2nd and 11. Reynolds actually lost a yard. And a dog pile right there at the line of scrimmage. And what I meant by that was the full packed stands across the way. And our captain, Julian Wilson, reading my mind. That is awesome. You see a packed house on the road. Like Coach Cornford says, can do a lot for a campus.
Yeah, they're hoping to get a little piece of history over here.
3rd and 8.
I was 12 years old the last time they won a championship. You doing the math? In your
No, just trying to make sure to make a wisecrack. I had a couple ready. 3rd and 8. They go right up the middle with it, and it's a big run, and they pick up the 1st down. And Deloney is just, the absolute called-upon workhorse. When he gets down to these big runs, when it's 1st and goal from the 3, you know it's going to be him. But on 3rd and 8, it's still going to be Kalen Deloney.
Well, again, with 3rd and 8 for them, they're figuring they're going to go for it on 4th down anyway if it's 4 yards or less. So why not run it? And it really makes it difficult to defend because you don't get that typical 3rd and long pass rush mentality. You got to still play the same, pad low, gap solid mentality that you play on 1st and 2nd down.
Absolutely, Coach. Great point. A double wing, they get set in again. Tight. And this time, a quick handoff, and it's going to be Sandoval right around the near side. Sandoval, a big 1st down, and he gets knocked out at about the 43-yard line. A big 1st down. So they mix it up. a little bit. Give it to Kevin Sandoval.
Yeah, lead blocker there, Brian Jacinto, man, 6'1", 230 pounds, and he was moving. That's the kind of guy you want to run behind. He's one of their top guys, plays defensive line for them also. A two-way guy that obviously in great shape because he was hauling buns there. And then as Highland, they had that 3rd and 8 that they gave up just a while ago. That's disheartening when you think, hey, we're about to get them off the field and then they convert.
Scotsman, they bring 4 only. They stay back a little bit to try to get a little time to get Deloney, and Deloney still doesn't go down.
Pancake block up there by Andrew Horton, who's just going snap to whistle. And they go, again, Highland's got to keep those pads down or they're going to get driven to the end zone.
6:20 remaining in this half. The score is 16-15. The Trojans up 1, 16-15.
And a perfect drive for these Trojans would be to use about all of that clock and score with probably about a minute to go.
A whale of a 1st half. Great game. 2nd and 9. And look out, he's in trouble. Manji's in big trouble. He can't get free, and he goes down. He's trying to get away, but he cannot. And that is a big, big loss, and the Scotsmen come up with a big play when they need it. Jacob Urea.
That was going to be some kind of misdirection, and something went wrong.
Coach, there's just so little space in that offense. It's just so packed in and so packed tight. As a basketball player and a basketball coach, we were always about space. Spread it out and let that defense, make that defense work, make that defense cover a lot of ground. It's just not the concept in a double wing.
They just don't want any leakage, but there you see what happens. And when there was leakage, it really cost them. Now they're in a situation where it's very long yardage to go.
Highland brings 6 at him, and now Sandoval trying to get free, and he does get free. Sandoval picks up the 1st down. Are you kidding me? What a huge play. Kevin Sandoval comes from the right side. They put the ball in his hand, and if you're the Highland Scotsman, that's just a big, big bummer.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Decker, you think, hey, that's a great call that he just made there. You're thinking fullback up the middle again, and quarterback keeps it with a little boot action over there, catches everybody by surprise, made one guy miss, picked up 25 yards. Right back on schedule.
Kevin Sandoval already has a touchdown, scored the 1st touchdown of the night. And now it's 1st and 10 at the Highland 37. Manji behind quarterback. And this time they give it to the speedster, Reynolds. Reynolds down the right side, looking for a big block, gets some room. Now Reynolds still on his feet. Reynolds, does he get in? Oh, that's a touchdown by Tyson Reynolds. Incredible blocking at the beginning of the play, in the middle of the play, and some good distraction traffic blocking at the end of the play. Foothill scores again on Tyson Reynolds' speed.
Boy, I'm very impressed with this Foothill squad and Coach Decker and his play calling here. You know, Highland's kind of into that mode. Wait, we got to guess if they're going inside or outside. And right now, Coach Decker is playing with an extra ace in the hole.
What a big 3rd and 18 they pick up with Sandoval. I think everybody on this side of the football field, the Highland side, said, go, we're going to get the ball back. Well, they are, but it's going to be from a kickoff. Trojans going for 2 again. They've got one of their linebackers, Brian Jacinto, in the backfield. Will they give it to him? No, they're going to let him block. But this time, Highland keeps out Deloney. He doesn't get in.
So they put Deloney at a wing for there, put the linebacker at the fullback spot, and tried to lead block there. I don't think Highland was too fooled by that. So that's a big stop for the Scots. It keeps them down to 7.
It sure is. And my old partner, Brian Williams, if I ever even said the 2 words moral victory, he'd go off on me. And it's not a moral victory when you get scored on a touchdown, but that's a good stop right there. It's a good stop. 22-15 is the score. So a barn burner here when there's just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. So our director, Julian Wilson, this is not just about him making sure the camera angle's right. He's got to hop down and edit and cut tape and cut film because the Kern High Network, Twitter especially, is going to have about 55 plays in this first half. So Julian, get to work. Fun night here at Scotland Yard. If you think back on some of the great names at Highland High School, there are some great ones. Great ones. Kenyon Sills, Jeff Tilsher, Aldo Aparity, Jeff Adams, Donnie James.
We got Garces 14, BHS 7 at the half.
This could take a nice bounce. It gets away from him for a second. They fake the handoff, and this time it's going to be Valletta trying to make something happen on his own, and Valletta goes down the 35-yard line, and Mel McClanahan, some more Highland superstars.
Boy, that's a name. I got West High 28, Ridgeview 0 at the half. Over there, the West High Vikings, another team that I think shocked a lot of people.
Not you.
Coach Dunham over there, a heck of a job with that program. Got those kids believing.
Good man, good coach. Great man, great coach.
Amen to that.
4:44 left in the half. Highland trails by a touchdown. Let's see what they can do. Mata stands at his own 20 in the shotgun. He spread everybody out. He's got a pair on both sides. A quick shovel pass again. And this time Juarez makes the catch. Again, the go-to guy on the ground, Adrian Juarez. There are other options. Manny Valletta, Jacob Urea, but the one that garners the attention and has the big numbers is Adrian Juarez.
Yeah, and George Venegas would start for most other teams. He's the backup running back, but Juarez is, he's an exceptional back. 775 yards, 11 touchdowns already this season. Just a junior. So again, we see Highland is mostly trying to work outside the tackles here because that Foothill defense is extremely stout inside.
I know that Highland High School's homecoming next week. They have a 40-year reunion taking place during homecoming. That ought to be fun.
Is that what's going on? I was wondering what was going on here.
Stoppage of play, and the public address announcer, Mike, who went to high school here. So that's back in the day. We didn't have lights, so we played at Memorial Stadium. So we're talking about this great football field, and we called a lot of games in the stands, and the announcing stands were on the visitor side. And Remember one game we called here years and years ago when it was Bright House Networks, and Brian Adams and I were up in a scissor lift. We had a sponsor that had a scissor lift. They were a rental company, equipment rentals, and so we were, well, this is in your era when you were coaching.
Yeah.
You were calling your games no scissor lift. That wind came up over Panorama and started shaking up the scissor lift, and Brian said, second half, we're calling this on the ground, man. A run play up the middle, nothing doing there on a 2nd and 6. They get maybe 2. Bring up 3rd and 4. And a good tackle there by Ortiz. Kenneth Ortiz makes a hit right there in the gap.
This is where JoJo Mata has been so effective tonight, making the right read and call in these situations.
Oh, goodness. And Jackson moved, but he wasn't the only one. So a false start, and those are those ones that just really aggravate you. You've got to pick up a big 3rd down here to keep the momentum going with 4 minutes to go in the first half, and now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it kind of takes the run out of your run pass option for the most part, unless you're a really good draw team.
So now Mata, for all intents and purposes, by himself. Juarez is back there, and they might throw to him. They cut across the corner with it, and the pass ends up being a slant, but it doesn't work. It was intended for Stevens, and we may see the 2nd punt of the evening for the Scotsman.
Yeah, the timing just wasn't quite there on that one. They were trying to hit short and get some yards after catch. The pass was off target. Mata back in punt formation. Foothill coach is telling their returner to move up a bit. He doesn't have a 40-yard leg. Maybe he does.
And he says, Coach Cornford, are you talking about me? You're right, I don't have a 40-yard leg. It's a 52-yard leg, I think. Pretty good. What a punt. Got a really nice spin off of it and pushed that Foothill Trojan offensive start back to the 25-yard line. So with 3:42, Trojans up by a touchdown, 22-15. And let's see what Coach Brandon Decker can put together for.
So most offenses, 3:42, there's plenty of time to run your typical system. They're going to run their typical system. I'm anxious to see if they try to come out of the huddle a little bit sooner, because at the typical pace they play at, they've only got about 7 plays to scoring. Though they have shown that they can score quickly tonight too.
1st and 10. And Sanders will try to make something happen. The pitchers, I mean, it's just so interesting to see the quarterback maybe a foot away. I mean, they're like 2 feet from each other, and he tosses the ball up, and he's kind of grabbing it out of the air. It's a very, very unique optic on that double wing.
From the defensive standpoint, if you're trying to take on a block, you got to be careful about peeking for the ball, and then you get driven. So you have to really be unselfish defensively to hold your gap, you know, and then know that your linebackers will flow over the top to the right hole.
Coach said it best, no leakage, absolutely no leakage. It is 2nd and 10. Foothill takes the ball, and they hand it off to the Speedy Reynolds. He's already had 1 long touchdown run, breaks a couple of runs, and oh goodness, Foothill still chomping at the bit to get another long run. 2:51 left here in the first half. Trojans lead 22-15.
All right, so we get another 3rd down here for Foothill. They're not in any hurry. They've got the 7-point lead, 2:49 to go on the clock after running out of bounds there. But it's a much more difficult offense to defend when you're able to go wide and just punch it up the gut like they're able to do.
3rd and 3. Big moment here for these Highland Scots late in the first half. And they go ahead and give it to their big guy. Can they bring him down? They can, but I think he got the first. And they move it. They move the chains. Got him the ankles, which is a good place to start with Baloney, but he got past him.
Yeah, if you're a safety, you don't want to hit him up high too often, because get your mom worried up in the stands. And for him, he loves contact. He loves playing football.
Great point.
They don't plan much on defense. He's one of the guys that doesn't go both ways because they realize what a threat he is offensively.
1st and 10. We're at 2 minutes now. Reynolds wrapped up quickly. And that was a big, big play. And the gentleman that made the tackle is none other than Jacob Urea. Urea got in there and got him quickly. And that's what you have to do with Reynolds. Get to him quickly.
Again, Urea, he's the captain of that defense. As a linebacker, it'll be his job to be tackling all these guys all night long. He's as good a linebacker as you'll see in town.
90 seconds remains here at half. 2nd and 11. 22-15. Foothill leads Highland. Manji in trouble. Looks like a screen play, but he better get out of trouble. And now look at this. A flag on the play, and this wonderful play by Manji's probably going to be called back. Man, oh man. Rafael Manje just put on a show, but it's holding on his teammates back there.
All right, now if you're Highland, you think, hey, should we start burning some timeouts? Maybe get a little time with the clock left. I don't know what kind of field position we get. Haven't seen Foothill punt yet. Don't know what they have. I know it's something that they don't like to do. But when it's going to be 2nd and 25 here, at least if you're Highland, you might have a shot.
Coach Gutierrez was talking to the line judge. May have been actually telling him, hey, get ready, stay close. He's calling some timeouts. But what a great job Coach Gutierrez has done here. You know, just phenomenal job on that.
Well, boy, he was hired when he was just out of diapers, I think.
I remember I was there for his first game.
Yeah, and he just come in and brought an enthusiasm and a culture and a work ethic to this school, and you know, they've become the dominant team in the Southeast League.
Manji. Now they try to get around the corner again, and they can't do it with Sandoval this time. He was drugged down. A really nice play there by Diego Duenas, the big, tall Diego Duenas, and he's 6'3", 180.
An immediate timeout there by Coach Gutierrez, who I believe was an assistant coach at Foothill before he got the Highland job.
Well, you were right, Coach. He was ready for the timeout. So it's 3rd and 29. 1:07 remaining here in this first half. Again, Coach Cornford is going to have, I grew up calling her Debbie, Deborah Vigstrom. Vigstrom family, close friend of mine. Highland, true and true, forever. Highland, the Vigstroms are Highland mainstays. What a great job she's done with this school. I mean, every time you come here, you know you're at a campus where there's involvement and there's engagement in there. You know, you just feel it and you get a sense for it.
All right, now I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Kalen Deloney up the middle. You know, you're afraid of this and you're afraid of that, and all of a sudden the big guy gets you right up the gut one more time. It's a pretty safe call. The last thing Foothill wants to do is throw the ball when you're expecting them to throw the ball. They're great at throwing the ball when you don't expect it. On a 3rd and long, I'm thinking Deloney right up the middle.
They're on the 19, and they have to get to the 49. So they need to get 30 yards and an inch for a first down. Monty rolls, looks, tosses it out there, and it's picked off at the 44-yard line. That's a mistake. And now Stevens, trying to get to the end zone, gets down to the 17-yard line. So instead of being able to boot the ball and get it down here, they throw it away, and all of a sudden Highland is just right there knocking on the door.
Yeah, that's why they don't like to throw the ball on 3rd and long. That's when most of your turnovers are going to happen with a minute to go in the half. I was thinking that they would be conservative. They went for a shot. But now, boy, Highland has really got a chance to take all the momentum going into the half here if they can get a touchdown on the board.
Wow. Wow. I really thought they were going to go with what you had said, just give it to Deloney, keep it safe, and get rid of it. And now all of a sudden, Highland could tie this thing up or go more. Hard count, flags will fly. So now Coach Gutierrez is opening up the briefcase with a hard count, and it's going to be 1st and 5. But more importantly, it's just, you know, going from the neighborhood to the sidewalk. They're getting close to that front door.
Now there's 51 seconds left in the half here, so you got to be pretty quick. Now they can go with tempo, Highland can, so that's to their advantage in this situation.
They throw it, and it's incomplete. And Mata went for Valletta, and incomplete. Clock stops.
Mata kind of shaking that right hand there like he might have hit it on a helmet or something.
Boy, you hit that elbow bone on a helmet. Yikes. He's got Adrian Juarez back there behind him. Another junior. This team is stacked for ages. Juarez gets a great fake from Mata, and Mata gets up to about the 4-yard line. I mean, everybody on the field thought that Juarez had it.
That stops the clock while they move the chains here, so you get a chance to get on the line, get another call in here. I don't think you need to spike the ball. Foothill's blitzing off the edges, so the inside receiver might be open here if Foothill does it again.
The drama, Mata drops back, wants to throw again, flush out of the pocket, Mata throws it away. He gets hit from behind. Oh goodness, the pressure from Brian Jacinto from behind. That was close to being a strip.
Or intentional grounding. I'm surprised they didn't get that call out there. Maybe they deemed the throw was affected by getting hit like that.
He was in the grasp of Jacinto and then just tossed it. And now he still seems a little banged up. His helmet's.
He wears glasses, and I think his glasses have come off. Now that his helmet's off, they're going to have to put in a backup running back or quarterback.
So that's going to be Urea. Urea will come in. And how about this on his 2nd and goal from the 5? They bring in Urea for quarterback, but now George Venegas is going to come in and be back there with him. So, Venegas is in the Wildcat, and he might just hand the ball off, and they do. No, he keeps it. And he's thrown down by 3 or 4 Trojans, so now all of a sudden the clock stops with a timeout at 17.7, so everything's still okay. It's all still manageable. Your quarterback's going back in. Jojo Mata is going to go in with 3rd and goal from now the 7, Coach.
Yeah, and I think Foothill was pretty smart there. They realized without the quarterback in there that the chances that ball was going to be thrown were nil. And so they stacked the box there and didn't bite the initial run fake, had the guy on the quarterback and tackled for a loss. I'll tell you what, Highland scores, they got a huge momentum boost going into half, but if Foothill holds them, and those Trojans, man, they're going to be high as a kite there.
And get the football back to start the 3rd quarter.
Good point.
You're watching the Kern High Network live exclusive coverage of high school athletics here in the Kern County region. I'm Vance Palm alongside Rich Cornford, our director Julian Wilson to the right. And it is a great, great first half of football. The visiting Foothill Trojans with a packed visitor stand have 22 points, and the hometown Scots have 15. 3rd and goal from the 7, and after a timeout, their quarterback is back on the field. His glasses were dinged up, so he's back. Number 5, Jojo Mata, and he split his receivers all across that line of scrimmage. They're way out, and Juarez back there in the backfield with him. Here we go, big play, 3rd and goal from the 7. And Mata keeps it, rolls to his right, throws, tosses, and it is dropped. Incomplete. And there's one other Highland Scotsman in the very back of the end zone that may have been open for a brief second, but I think Mata had his mind up there, and a really nice effort. It's a pretty well thrown ball. Just
there's good coverage, good play all the way around.
Well, Coach, 12.1 seconds left. 4th and goal from the 7.
Well, Manny Valletta is the guy they like to go to in this situation. They just tried to go with in the last play. He's got more than half their receiving yards on the season and 4 of their 5 receiving touchdowns. So he's at the bottom of the screen here.
Huge play to end the first half. Mata in the shotgun. They go with it. They hand the ball off, and nothing happens. They give it to Juarez. Foothill stops. The crowd goes crazy, and boy, we talked about it as far as momentum. Highland picked the ball off, intercepted it at the 40-yard line, and got it into at least the 5-yard line, and couldn't punch it in. So now all of a sudden, just like you said, Coach, Foothill's got this momentum and the football to start the third quarter.
Yeah, that Foothill defense held firm there and made a stop when they needed to. Really going to give their team momentum going into the half.
Wow. So Trojans will take a knee, I'm presuming, and we will go to a halftime break and come back, and Deborah Vikstrom, the principal of Highland High School, is going to come on up and spend some time with our very own Coach Rich Cornford. And at the end of halftime, we're going to have a tribute to one of my mentors, Chuck Chamberlain. And that will do it. Halftime, 22-15. What a great start. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have an interview and a tribute to a great man and a great coach. And this is a great game. 22-15, Foothill up by a touchdown. You're watching all of this on the Kern High Network. We'll be back in a bit. Thank you.
We are these fields. We are these roots. We see the beauty in the everyday, with pride from where we came.
All right, here we are with Deborah Vikstrom. She's the principal at Highland High School. They're honoring the state Valley champions for their softball tonight. So football's not the only sport Highland dominates, huh?
No, it's been an awesome ride. The past 5-6 years have been an amazing period of growth athletically at Highland High School. So we've been able to bring on some great coaches, and they've been able to bring on more people, and we've seen some success. And like this year, our softball championship.
Well, that's really exciting. And you bleed green and blue. Did you go to school at Highland?
Literally, yes. Class of 1979, and so it's really great to be back. Just had my 45-year reunion, and so I do bleed blue and green. And it's amazing to sit here tonight on this field, see that Block H out there covered in pink for our breast cancer awareness. It's our new band director out there leading the field show. It's all good.
Yeah, and you know, what a great night. I lost my mom to breast cancer, so all this, you know, we really appreciate that, seeing the survivors earlier tonight. So you guys, the stands are packed. Mike Gutierrez was just raving, I told you earlier, about the support that you give him in the program.
Yeah.
And as a former coach myself, and we've worked together ourselves too in the past, you know, you just can't say enough about how important a role the administration plays. So from your perspective, how do you see football fitting into the culture of the school?
Well, so goes football, so goes the school. And I think, we're very lucky we picked up Mike. He was a Foothill grad, so to have him here at Highland is pretty awesome. But I took some advice from Bill Hatcher, who was a former principal at East High and then Centennial, became superintendent. And he said, hire good people and then get out of their way. So I think that's important that principals come in and hire good people to coach kids, because most of us went to school to be involved in the extracurriculars, right? So football drives your programs. Of course, once your football program gets established, you're also bringing in your baseball coaches and your soccer coaches and your swim team. And, it's just a challenge to get coaches to come in and to be on your campus. It takes a little while to do that and to get the kids bought into it. But more than X's and O's, Gutierrez and our coaches are about just building good students and trying to influence our community in a positive manner. And so that's what tonight is all about with honoring breast cancer survivor. That's the team, and that's what they do, and that's how they want to give back to the community. So it really is a partnership. I think that it's probably pretty rare. There are a few female principals out there, but most of us bleed our schools. Connie Groening over at Sal's, shout out. Libby over at Liberty, Vicki out at Frontier, but we're all doing our best to support our programs and our students. Football makes a lot of money for us.
Well, it's certainly paying off. You guys have become the dominant team in the Southeastern Senior League. Next year, leagues realign a little bit. You'll be in there with Ridgeview and Bakersfield High, and just got to keep working.
Well, I was in a lot of that conversation about releaguing, and I sat down with Coach Gutierrez and said, look, everybody else sees us here. It's time we see ourselves here. And there was no backing out of it. So put some time in the weight room. Our other programs were having success, and they were.
I was a bit of an unknown, and Bill Bruce, who was the principal at that time, asked me, who can I
play, and just decided, all right, I'm grabbing it. This one, the Trojans thought it was going to bounce out, and the ball never went out of bounds, and the Highland Scots get it to start the third quarter.
Well, it's a funny shaped ball, isn't it? And it looked like it was going to go, and it just took a left turn at Albuquerque.
Wow, to start off the third quarter, the Trojans have lost every ounce of that momentum they had on a first and goal that from the 5 that the Scots couldn't get in. The Trojans stopped them. And here is an 8-iron kickoff that bobbled around and was about a foot from the sidelines. It's like a foul ball, a baseball going down the foul ball line, and it stays in and hits the bag.
Now they moved the ball back to the 14. I don't think they recovered it except for at the 11. So I'm not exactly sure why they moved it back.
So how about this? 1st and 10 from the 14 to start off the third quarter. A crazy, crazy turn of events. And now it's going to be Mata, and he gets wrapped up very quickly. So this Foothill defense is going to just have to dig back in again. And that's Andrew Rios. Rios just got to get his teammates to think, hey guys, look, all right, here we go again. Let's do what we can do. But dangerous, dangerous.
So in the red zone here, Foothill has gone to what we call, the first play, they went to a cover 0, expecting a run, which meant no safety help. Now they do have a safety deep middle and back into their typical cover 3 look. 2nd and 12, that little shovel pass again out to Juarez, and Juarez still on his feet, and he gets pushed down about the 16, 17 yard line. And just the craziest start to the third quarter. The ball looked like it was going out of bounds, and Foothill, of course, wanted to have it go out of bounds and get the ball moved up on the kickoff, and it stayed in bounds like only a football can do. Well, this Foothill defense has played great with adversity. They faced with it right at the end of the first half, now faced with it here, and they've created a 3rd and long situation.
3rd and 11. Mata looks over. Coach Gutierrez.
Cover 0.
Mata looks, throws, fires, and it is off target. And I'll tell you what, Diego Duenas was actually open. and the pass was off target. So now, although the Scotsman had an incredible break to get the football, they're going to have to do something here, or it's going to be 2 drives in a row within the 20-yard line. They don't get in.
4th and 11. They're looking like it's all man coverage there. Don't see anybody back deep. Coach Gutierrez dialing up the play. He calls it after he sees the defense.
Mata, the ball hits the ground. Throws it up, puts it up, and it's caught for a touchdown. Oh my goodness. The ball almost hit the ground on the snap. He fires it into the corner, and it was man-to-man coverage deep in the corner. And so, unbelievable. Zephan Stevens comes down with it, and the Trojans are stunned. He had about 4 feet of space between themselves and that back pylon. And the crazy thing, Mata goes way down low to get the snap. Wow, what a play.
He did a good job putting that ball up high where only Zephan could get it. And, you know, Zephan doesn't have more than 4 catches on the year, but boy, he just made the best catch of his career.
Here's a 2-pointer to take the lead. And how about this? Did they get in? They did. So Urea takes that little handoff on a shotgun, trap, and he gets in. 23-22. So the Trojans were supposed to have started off the drive with the football. They do not, on a mistake on the return team, and Highland does make them pay on the last play opportunity on a 4th and long, and they throw it in the back corner of the end zone, and we've got a 23-22 game. Wow.
Both of these teams showing great character, making clutch plays, having to earn every little bit of it.
I'm making my notes, writing my stats down and looking at some stuff here. 10-26, we are underway now in the 3rd quarter. Boy, and if you're Coach Deckard and all your coaching staff, you're in there at halftime, you're in your halftime talk, and you're putting your plan together, and you've got it all dialed in, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And the kickoff, of all things, stays in bounds at about the 30-yard line. And hats off to the Scotsmen. They just kept going, and they didn't stop. And the Foothill coaching staff are thinking, they didn't plan on that.
Yeah, that was great hustle by the Scots there. But, you know, this Foothill, you're thinking, hey, we got a 1-touchdown lead. We're getting the ball coming out. They really haven't stopped us except for, you know, that last situation there with a few seconds left in the half. We got them right where we want them. And then that happens.
So just a complete reversal of mentality. Now here comes another kick. This one a little deeper, and I think they're going to take this one. And they do. They take it at the 22-yard line by number 22, and he's still on his feet. So it's Trevino. So Foothill will get the ball.
All right, now if you're Foothill, you just got to think, hey, it's just one play. Let's not panic. Let's just do our thing. We're going to grind it up the middle with Thunder, and we'll give it out wide with Lightning, and we'll get, you know, take about 5 minutes off this clock, and we'll have the lead again.
Only down 1.
Yeah, and that again brings up that big 2-point conversion that they made earlier.
Okay, 1st and 10. Rafael Manji. And they put it in the hands of the big fella. 2 great interviews, Coach. Appreciate your time with Ryan, Foothill High principal, and then you had Deborah from Highland High School, and 2 great interviews. And Ryan talked about what you had talked about with Tyson coming a little bit late. And Manji, that big 1-2 power punch, you know.
Yeah, it was great talking with Ryan. He was my athletic director when I got hired on at Frontier. So good to see him again. He's a guy that played a little football himself in the day, and understands the importance. And you know, Deb Vikstrom did too. That football can really set the tone for you.
They give it to Reynolds. Go around the outside. He cuts back up, And he's still on his feet, and he not only is super, super fast, he is tough to bring down, and he was hit behind the first down marker, and then he just battled completely to get that first down.
That play has been great for them all night long. I'll bet they're averaging 10 yards a carry on that thing.
What would you call that play?
That'd be like a fly sweep or a jet sweep.
No.
So you give it to your fastest guy with momentum, and it really becomes tough to stop, especially when you got a bull coming up the middle potentially too.
1st and 10. Look out, ball's on the ground. Oh, he picks it up. And going to be tough. He's going to take a big hit, but man, that ball bounced right back up in his chest. And goodness gracious, Sandoval, very, very fortunate. That ball could have gone anywhere, and it bounced right back up in his chest.
Looked like Australian rules football, where you got to bounce it every 15 yards.
It did. It just came right back, and that would have been a brutal start to this third quarter to have the kickoff play and then this play. But it brings up 2nd and 10, 8.5 remaining here in this third quarter.
You know, both these teams have great records, but they've both been in some pretty tight ball games. I think it's a testament to their coaching that they've got the records they do. They win the tight ones.
They give it to the big guy, Deloney, and this time they meet him. Highland coaching staff obviously going through some of their adjustments at halftime. And when there's somebody that big and that powerful and that strong and likes to hit, a lot of times your adjustment is, hey, just try to hit him a little harder.
Well, they made a pretty good adjustment there because they bent him backwards that time. You don't see him go backwards that often.
3rd and 8, coach.
Yeah. Now, again, this is probably 4-down territory for the Foothill, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to throw the ball. We've seen them run the ball for a first down in the same situation in the first half.
Well, Deloney stands behind Manji. Williams with his back to us. Reynolds with his back to us. And it's a double handoff, and Reynolds has it. He's got to get to the first down, does he? He does. Oh, and he tippy-toes past the marker to pick up the first down. That was a really impressive bit of running. He was tippy-toeing, falling out of bounds, but got past the marker. And I know that Ryan, your first halftime guest, talked about the fact that he really truly believes that Reynolds can play at the next level on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, when you're 4-4, you know, and you can play offense and defense, there's a spot for you somewhere. He mentioned that they might have another 4 guys that could potentially play at BC. And heck, in my opinion, if you're good enough to start for a couple years at BC, you're definitely good enough to go to the next level.
We had our Bakersfield College Athletics Hall of Fame on Wednesday night. Just a phenomenal night. You talk about some guys that took their time at JC level to move it up to the top levels. It was absolutely them.
Boy, how fortunate are we to have such a great junior college here in town.
Sandoval on a counter up the middle, and he gets hit hard, and the whistles they're not coming late because the guys won't go down. So it's not a situation where they are letting guys run him over. These Foothill running backs keep churning and burning, so the refs don't blow the whistle, and then it's time they do. So 2nd and 10, under 7 to go here in this third quarter. The score is 23-22. It couldn't be more dramatic for a game of a 6-1 host in Highland and a 6-0 traveling team, the Foothill Trojans.
Those Foothill stands are packed. The Highland stands are packed. Everybody enjoying themselves.
And Highland came at him, and Manji now able to just slip one tackle, and a big flag comes from the back judge, and he threw that about 25 yards. A couple of flags. And the Foothill Trojans, Brian Jacinto is one of the Trojans pointing at Highland. Maybe have been a face mask. Coach might have been super obvious.
Yeah, that would be my guess coming from way back there like that.
Here's the call, personal foul, face mask. It is first down, Trojans.
That's going to move them up to right about the 20-yard line. So watching this double wing, this is there's a guy named Markham that came up with this thing probably a little over 20 years ago. And you know, the whole mentality, he took over a program down in LA that hadn't won much, but he played 9 guys both ways, I think. Since they do that, they walk to the line of scrimmage, they just snap the ball every 40th second, right on time. But he ended up scoring like 600 points that year. And, Wasco had run this offense for a long time, and it's very tough to get off the field if they're bigger and stronger than you up front.
Manji gives it to the big fella, and that's Deloney. Deloney right up the middle, maybe 3-4 yards. And we're going to dip below the 6-minute mark here in 4 seconds.
So Lucian Crony there on the stop. He's one of the top defenders for Highland. Hadn't really mentioned his name yet, but he's a guy that they depend on up front. He's number 2 on their team in tackles with 48 on the season.
Very deliberate drive, Foothill. Thought this would be their second drive of the half. It's
Whoa.
not. Again, Reynolds to the outside on the sweep. Lowers the shoulder and barrels his way inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal from about the 7-yard line.
So Brian Jacinto, I mentioned his name in the first half. He pulled
Okay.
down here.
How was that food?
Right, he plays guard, and he is extremely.
Okay, we're going to get this started.
30 pounds, and when they've had success running.
Can I have everyone's attention?
Blocker for it. So these backs get a lot of the credit as they.
Okay,
should.
I'm Dave Spallinger. I'm your MC for this evening. I'm Foothill class of 79, and I'm not the familiar face that you normally see up here. Mike Maggard is normally the one that does this, and he's getting accepted into the Hall of Fame tonight, and so he's not able to do it. And so someone asked me, so what did you draw the short stick when they picked you to do this, to have this gig? And I said, no. I said, I think they were trying to find someone that had the same haircut as Mike Maggard. That's right. So don't charge the stage and slap me, okay?
Deloney stands again right behind.
You got that.
They give it to Reynolds.
Okay, so we want everyone to
Reynolds 4-on-1
to stay. The bar over here will be open after the.
Now they're going to have to do it 2
celebration
more
is done.
So that was a great job.
This bar over here will be open all the time. And one thing we would ask is that when the inductees are speaking, if you could refrain from walking around, and if you could stay here until the last inductee gets their award. So we have some special guests in the house tonight that I'd like to introduce. The first one is Jan Graves, trustee from the Kern High School District. Jan, would you stand up? She's over in the corner. Hi, Jan. And then another one is Jeff Flores, another trustee for the Kern High School District. Over here. Welcome, Jeff. We also have the current Foothill president, Ryan Guyvet. Ryan, over here. And one thing we do here at every induction ceremony is introduce all the past inductees. And so I'm going to call the names of the inductees that are here from the past. And if you'll stand, hold your applause till the end, I'd appreciate that. So from the 1965 football team, is there anyone here from that football team? Right here. The 1969 football team. Yeah. And stay standing if you would, please. 1974 football team. '76 basketball team. We had Helena Troy here. 1981 football team. the 1984 basketball team, the 1988 basketball team, and the 1998 wrestling team. Okay, and then individuals we have here with us. Neil Agnes. And remain standing, please. Cheryl Alexander. Mike Anderson. Dr. William Baker. Vic Diaz. Jan Graves. Jeff Houghton, I saw him over here. Ray Jewell. Greg Little. Bill Moore. Ted Oliver. Ned Permenter. Harville Pollard. Steve Roberts. Rashawn Sheehy. Dr. Joe Thompson. And Ryan Valencia. Is there anyone that I've missed that wasn't on this list? Marianne Chapman? Tackman, Marianne Tackman. Anyone else? Let's give them all a great hand. At this time, I'd like to call Dr. Bill Baker up.
Good evening. A lot of strange things happened at the Foothill Hall of Fame. You may have noticed that Ryan Guyvette got promoted from principal to president tonight. Ryan, congratulations. We're all in your corner, baby. Welcome to the 2022 induction ceremony, which we induct the class of 2020. This has been a long and difficult 2 years for the world, our nation, and all of us in the Foothill family. Many of us have suffered unthinkable loss, changed the course of our daily lives, and all of us have done the best we could to stay healthy as we adapted to the myriad number of changes this COVID pandemic has brought to our lives. Thanks to the most rapid and effective vaccine development in human history, and by the grace of God, we're all here tonight to celebrate the 2020 inductees into the Hall of Fame. The last 2 years, however, have not been without loss for Foothill and the Hall of Fame. Foothill has lost Ross Hart, who taught at Foothill for over 33 years, starting in 1971. Elaine Connolly, who taught at Foothill for 38 years. Laura Ghilarducci, one of our Hall of Fame committee members, who taught at Foothill for 35 years, and mentored one of tonight's inductees, Benjamin Victor. We have also lost one of the 2019 Hall of Fame inductees, world champion boxer, attorney Rosie Reed. Let's all bow our heads for a moment of silence as we remember these Trojan icons and all of those whom we have lost in the last 2 years. Thank you. Thanks to all of you who have supported the Hall of Fame since our inception in 2012 and our first induction ceremony in 2013. Thank you especially for your support during the past 2 years. Many of you purchased tickets in 2020 and trusted that we would get back on track as soon as we could. Many of you participated in our golf tournament, October 2nd, 2021, helping us to raise funds to support the Hall of Fame and Foothill students. All of us on the Hall of Fame committee are deeply appreciative. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Tonight we celebrate distinguished alumni who have excelled through their community involvement, athletic and artistic achievements, and leadership. We honor Foothill's first CIF Valley Championship team. We also have the opportunity to recognize the 2020 Boys Soccer Valley Champions, the remarkably talented musicians qualifying for Honor Orchestra, and the resurgent SEYL champion Trojan football team. Nothing this momentous happens without hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. The Hall of Fame committee has worked tirelessly to make all of this possible. And I'd like to especially thank Scott Manzer for overseeing all the details of tonight's event. Thank you, Scott. It's the first time I've had dinner during the Hall of Fame before it was over since 2013, so thank you. I enjoyed dinner, Scott, thanks to you. Bill Moore for working with the AV team from Freestyle, Larry Baker, CPA, and Mickey Mills for their work with the ticket sales and accounting. Dr. Joe Thompson for once again producing a beautiful program. I'm sure you agree. It's a really a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice and diligence that goes into putting this together, and it's a beautiful program. Please take it and enjoy it. Jim Wooster for managing and obtaining all the awards for our inductees. Scott Garcia for producing the wonderful DVDs that you'll see shortly. And Pat Carlotti for his attention toward cherished Foothill memorabilia and the setup for tonight. Vic Diaz for the highly desirable job of seating. Has anybody planned a wedding and figured out seating for a wedding? Well, that's what it's like fitting out seating for all of you tonight. It's the worst job we have in the committee. I've done it once. My wife said if I ever did it again, she'd kick me out. So here's Vic. Hey, Vic, thank you. We're the Foothill students tonight. I know we had a lot of wonderful young ladies who work with admin, and thank you for them for making sure we didn't have any fisticuffs trying to find your seat tonight. And then finally, Dave Salinger for his work as our MC. And yes, he did draw the short straw. Finally, thank to Eric Kuhn and all the staff at Bakersfield Country Club for hosting our wonderful induction ceremony. Let's give them a great big hand. They do a great job every year. Finally, enjoy the evening. Let's celebrate. Foothill, go Trojans!
I'd like to call up Dr. Joe Alexander to the podium. John, excuse me. I already screwed up. John Alexander.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. I'm up here tonight to represent the nominating committee. The nominating committee consists of 8 members of the general committee, and we have on our committee several members that have a long history with Foothill service. So, but I was thinking tonight, Foothill High School's had 59 graduating classes. That's over 20,000 students, and there's no way that we, the nominating committee, can keep track of all of those people. So this is why we need your help, okay? So tonight on your table, you'll find a little manila card there, and we would like you to please put the name of your favorite Foothill Trojan graduate on there that you think is qualified to be in the Hall of Fame. So remember that the Foothill Hall of Fame is no longer just an athletic Hall of Fame, okay? We have many graduates that have gone on to achieve and do great things, and you'll see that tonight. And we would really appreciate the names of those people. We especially would appreciate the names of more women, okay? We usually try to get, as many ladies on here as we can, and we're running low on those names, so please help us out there. Once you fill out your forms, just leave them on your table tonight. I'll pick them up later. If you want to fill out the full long form, you can get it. You can download it. You can download it on the Hall of Fame website. You just fill it out, print it, fill it out, and send it back to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I got it. At this time, I'd like to call up Ty Rose and the 2021 boys soccer team.
Hello. Everyone get up here. All right, I'd like to start by thanking the Foothill Hall of Fame. This is not a one night a year thing for them. I've seen other Hall of Fames around town, and I'm really thankful for this group. They're involved in our school and our kids' lives throughout the year, whether it be the Hall of Fame Award, scholarships, helping us with fundraising. They've always been there for us and for our students, so I'm just super, super appreciative. And, most Hall of Fames, it's what's happened in the past, and they're kind enough to invite us out here tonight. So we really appreciate it. Got to talk about these guys. This is going to sound weird to them because I've always been, hey, it's the next game. Don't think about what you've done in the past. But they're all going to graduate, so I can talk them up a little bit now. This is the 2019-2020 soccer team. And so they were tasked, they had a difficult task of defending their SEYL championship and defending their section title, their Valley Championship from the 18-19 season. We lost 10 seniors from the year before. We didn't play one single home game due to renovations at Foothill. So we were the road warriors that year. And despite that, we only lost one game all year. And the one game we lost, we beat that team pretty bad in the Valley Championship game. So I can't remember what school it is. It's somewhere over here. They have like green and blue colors. I'm not quite sure. We ended up with 24 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. We won the SEYL championship for the second consecutive time, repeated as section championships, section champs, and we made it to the state semifinal game. And I only have a couple minutes, so I can't tell you about what happened there. Not enough time. In the end, we were ranked as the #1 team in Bakersfield, regardless of division. Thank you. We were the #4 ranked team in the Central Section, the #29 team in the state of California, and the #94 ranked team in the entire nation. Individually, the team was awarded the SEYL Offensive Player of the Year. We had 3 first-team All-SEYL selections, 3 first-team All-Area selections, Shai Clayton, Aaron Fabella, Joe Medina, and we had the All-Area Player of the Year, Andres Mesa. Most importantly, the team had a 3.11 GPA, and we made the All-Area Academic Team. These guys show what it means to be a Trojan on and off the field. They say you can't push kids hard today, that they don't work hard, and that is absolutely false. These guys work so hard, and I could tell them to do anything, and they would pretty much do it. And it's just amazing the amount of effort and dedications these boys had that made me and our coaching staff look good. So just huge shout out to these boys up here.
That's awesome. The Foothill Orchestra is doing some awesome things as well, and I'm going to call up Director John Barker and with some of his kids to talk to you guys a little bit about what they're doing.
Wow, Mr. Rose, that's a lot of stuff going on there. Soccer team. Anyways, I am here tonight to talk about our orchestra and instrumental program. This is only my 3rd year at Foothill, but I feel like it's my first year because we all shut down and went home, and then last year was like a dumpster fire. So, it's great to be out again here. And in my first year here, we were playing our football. Like Mr. Rose said, they didn't have a stadium. All our home games were away. We played every single home game away. We did all of our halftime show per rehearsals in the dark on a practice field. So I know what he's talking about, and all the coaches are talking about having to do against all odds. So this is the first year that we've had a real stadium to practice in. We've had a real band room. I mean, it's just been, things are going really great for us in the band program and the orchestra program. Here we got, we've got Victoria Flores. Here she plays viola. Maya Nunez, she plays violin, and she's a concert master. And then over here we have Ruth Dominguez. She plays viola. And on the end we have Mia Gonzalez, and she plays cello. We are missing one person. That's Alma Alvarez. She's also a violist. And these 5 made it into, they had to go through a rigorous audition program, and they had to make it. And they played an entire Beethoven symphony this year when we went to, we had the Honor Orchestra Festival, and they did wonderful. It was so great to see that happen. They played over 25 minutes of music nonstop, so give it up for them. I just want to say I love what I do, and I think the arts are an important thing. I think the Hall of Fame is an important part of Foothill's legacy, and everything that you guys are doing here, it is very good. And so I'm not going to take up any more time, but I do want to say we have a marching program, a jazz program, a concert band program, an orchestra program, a drumline program, and even a beginning band. And we finally have a mariachi program, first in Kern High, Foothill High School, put the first one on there. And I just want to say thank you all for inviting us here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call up Coach Ned Permenter to talk a little football. And while he's coming up here, I got a little story to tell. So Ned does a football pool, and my mom happens to be in it, and my mom's 92 years old. At the time, she was 92. And so I go over to my mom's house one day, and I said, Mom, how you doing in the football pool? And she said, I'm not doing bad. I'm in 5th or 6th place, And she said, but you know what? That Ned Permenter, he's a lot lower than I am. And he's a legend. So the legend, the man himself, Ned Permenter. Ned, you'll have to come over here.
Thank you, Dave. I turned your mom into the IRS, too. Anyway, real pleasure to be here tonight, folks, because we have something very special. Been a pretty dry spell out at Foothill when it comes to football, but things changed this year. And the man that started doing it is a coach, Coach Deckert. And I had a chance to meet him when he first came to Foothill, and I wanted to see if he was crazy or not, because I don't know who would want to take that job. He would be the 3rd new football coach in 3 years. So when he got there, I said, do you know what you're getting into? And he said, yeah, I think so. I said, well, if you don't, let me give you some advice. Your first year, you're going to get your brains beat out, I think. And he did. He didn't win a game, okay? But I said, if you persevere, you can turn this program around. And he said, I plan to do that. And he did. That's what makes things so special. If you have not been out to Foothill High School, you old-timers, you will not know what's going on out there. There's nothing left of the stadium you once knew. It is a brand-new all-weather track, new bleachers, new lights, new press box, new facilities. Everything is brand new. But most of all, the newest thing we have is a new attitude. When you win, that takes care of everything. And when he started winning this year, what did you notice? The stands started filling up. The cheerleaders had something to cheer about. The flag teams and band, everything sounded better, played better. Money coming in the till, fans are in the bleachers, and life is good. So I'd just like to introduce to you the man and the young men who brought the winning ways in championship football back to Foothill High School on the east side of town. I'll just stay right here.
Okay.
Oh.
We good?
Hey,
all right,
good
Coach. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, this is my 4th year at Foothill, and one thing I learned, you never want to talk after Coach Permitter. So, you know, I'm going to do my best up here, talk about our team and what we're doing, but I want everybody to think back to how long it's been, right? 1981 was the last time Foothill won a championship in anything in football. Just to put that in perspective, I was 7. Coach Greg was 10, and none of these kids were thought about, right? And, you know, Coach Permitter was right. You know, when I took this job, there was a lot of people that said, you shouldn't do that. You're never going to win. You never can turn it around. Well, I didn't believe that. My wife didn't believe that. So, you know, we put the work in, and these kids behind me put the work in, you know. 40 years is a long time to wait, and hopefully we don't have to wait another 40 years. And the way these kids have showed the new kids coming through the program where to put the work in, how to get in the weight room, what to do, how to listen, all that stuff. Hopefully we'll be up here in the next few years talking about another championship, guys. So thank you very much, and we appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you.
Give them another hand. That's okay. Laura Gillarducci, affectionately known as Miss G, Laura, was midway through her 46th year of teaching, with 35 of those years as a Foothill Trojan when she unexpectedly passed away in March of 2020. Laura was a loving wife, mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, and friend to many. For more than 20 years, she was Foothill's art teacher and performing arts department chair and head women's tennis coach. She was an influential leader on the Foothill staff throughout her career. As such, she helped organize the Foothill Art Club, serving as an advisor for the life of the club. She served as secretary for the Kern High School Teachers Association. There goes my light. She served as a mentor to the countless beginning teachers. She was a member of the California Accreditation Committee. And most recently, she became a board member for Foothill High School Hall of Fame the year that she passed. Laura was born into a proud, pioneering Greek-American family and was a long member of St. George Greek Orthodox Church. She graduated from Bakersfield High School in 1969, and it was there where she met her future husband, Walt Ghilarducci. She would later earn her bachelor's degree from Long Beach State University, a master's degree from the University of Laverne, and a doctor's degree from UNLV. Clearly, she knew the value of hard work, perseverance, and education. Laura cherished her family time with Walt, her 2 children, daughter Gina, son John, son-in-law Andrew, and her granddaughter Olivia. She enjoyed creating art through those years. Her work will be remembered by all of those who shared her love of art. Laura was a phenomenal competitor, whether it be tennis, golf, basketball, or even a game of marbles. She was a trailblazer who believed in equality for all and was always a leader in all that she did. For all of her many colleagues, students, parents, and friends, Laura will be remembered as an intelligent, dedicated, and compassionate teacher, a professional who worked tirelessly to help her students improve and grow to become better people. In short, she was passionate about being the best at what she did. Another teacher that we lost was Elaine Conley. Oh, there it goes. This past October, a highly esteemed Foothill High School English teacher, Elaine Conley, passed away. Elaine joined the Foothill staff in 1965 after graduating with honors from the University of Iowa. Except for the year she lived in Tacoma, Washington, she spent her entire 38-year career at Foothill High School, retiring in 2003. Not long after moving to Bakersfield, she met the love of her life, Larry Conley, who she married in December of 1966. They were blessed with 2 children, Patrick and Kristen, and later 2 granddaughters, Emily and Alana. As part of her teaching assignment, Elaine was delighted to be the gate teacher and coordinator for her 38-year career. Her colleagues would tell you all her years of teaching, she never lost her zeal for teaching. At the beginning of each school, she enthusiastically looked forward to greeting her new students on the first day of class. And as the years went by, many of these students became her long life friends. Elaine loved life, reading, traveling, Facebook, roses, flowers, movies, playing bridge, her husband, children, grandchildren, family, friends, and her many Foothill students. Elaine was also a writer, and later in life she published the novels and short story collections she had worked on for so long. Later in her career, Elaine entered a master's degree from the University of Laverne, and for many years she served on the KHSD Mentor Teaching Selection and Writing Proficiency Committee. She was an advisor to the Bible Club, Photography Club, California Scholarship Federation, and was voted Teacher of the Year by students and faculty several times. Elaine took a great deal of pride in her career. She always treated her students with care and respect and modeled for them the positive behavior she expected from them. She enjoyed spending time with her Foothill colleagues, always enthusiastic, smiling and encouraging, pleasant, and with a smile for all. In short, Elaine Conley lived a Christian life, putting into practice her Christian values and beliefs. Her presence is dearly missed. You know, I was reading this over, and I think we all think back of those handful of favorite teachers that we had when we were at Foothill, and Elaine was she was my English teacher, and she was one of my favorites. So we're going to miss her. We have a video of, another person we lost was Rosie Reed, and like Dr. Baker said, and we have a video to show right now of Rosie.
Rosie Capello Reed, professional boxer, class of 1968. There weren't many opportunities for a young woman to participate in athletics in the 1960s, but Rosie was never your typical athlete. Before Title IX, there were few opportunities, as girls' athletics consisted of the Girls Athletic Association, tennis, and swimming, and she was not an experienced tennis player or swimmer. Her high school success consisted of playing quarterback in the junior-senior Powder Puff football game in her junior and senior years, which she won both times. The C-class football coach for the boys' team told her that she could pass better than all of his quarterbacks and asked her if she'd come out for the team. She agreed, but her father told her, "Those boys will kill you out there." As time would tell, it would probably have been the other way around, and not Rosie that would have gotten hurt. Instead, she decided to become a professional boxer. After high school, Rosie Capello studied at BC for 2 years and then went to work for Tony Reed Publications on the Rosedale Runner, doing everything from tossing papers to helping with copy. Tony and Rosie married, and then at age 26, friends took her to a boxing match at Strelec Stadium on a card with women fighters. The promoter asked after the fight if she wanted to try it. She replied, "No, I'm too old." 2 weeks later, Rosie was in the boxing gym. Rosie was a true pioneer in women's boxing, often fighting out of her weight class for very small purses during a time when the sport tried to establish its legitimacy. She helped to pave the way for today's multi-million-dollar payouts. Rosie fought as a flyweight, weighing only 106 to 109 pounds. Most of the women boxers weighed 135 to 147 pounds. She had success, but also felt the sting of a boxer's injuries, suffering 2 broken ribs and a broken thumb. In her first fight in Las Vegas in 1977 at the Silver Slipper, with a minimum weigh-in of 109 pounds, she had to fight as a bantamweight, 118 pounds. To make the required minimum weight, she had to weigh in all of her clothes and shoes with silver dollars in her pockets. Rosie fought for the Women's Boxing Board World Flyweight Championship in Bakersfield at Strongbow Stadium on May 30, 1980. Beverly Patrick, chairman of the WBB, stated that Rosie fought like a fighter with 25 fights under her belt, much more than her actual experience. She knocked out Bonnie Presswood in 6 rounds to become the world champion. Lou Filippo, former fighter and referee, said that Rosie had the best left hand of any fighter that he'd ever seen, man or woman. She did not win every one of her fights, but she did bloody the nose of each and every opponent she ever faced. Eventually, Rosie stopped fighting, but she did not, however, retire from boxing. She next became a trainer, not of women, but of men. Her first fighter went 25-0 as an amateur before turning pro. Staying in the corner, Rosie tried to become a licensed second and felt discrimination just as she had in high school and as a woman who wanted to box. After her boxing career, Rosie went on to even tougher challenges. At 32, she went to law school at the California Pacific School of Law, graduating with her Juris Doctorate degree in 1997 and opening a private practice in which she still practices today. Rosie overcame many obstacles in her quest to be accepted and recognized as the outstanding professional she was, in a sport which didn't open its doors easily to women. She did so by hard work, determination, skill, and a rare degree of toughness. Not long ago, the Smithsonian Institute asked Rosie to donate her championship belt to their collection. Rosie's response was, "I got a black eye winning that thing. I think I'll keep it right here with me." Congratulations to Rosie Reed on your induction into the Foothill High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Would you please stand and give Rosie a big hand? Thank you. Our prayers go out to the Reed family. Okay, now we're going to start the induction ceremony. One thing we'd like to ask is that the recipients that are receiving their plaques and everything, and that are going to give a speech, if you could keep it to 2.5 to 5 minutes, okay? And so this year we built a trap door right here, and I get the button. So we don't want to be here all night. So anyway, this year we have 10 individual inductees and 1 team. And I was just talking to Dr. Alexander, and he said after tonight, we will have inducted 91 individuals and 9 teams, which is pretty incredible. So, okay, so the team up is the I can't even see here. Okay, it's the Co Valley Champ combined boys and girls tennis team, 1972. And so if you would look at the screen for the video.
The 1972 combined boys and girls tennis teams. The girls tennis team was coached by Mary Lynn Conley. Team members were Cheryl Alexander, Jennifer Brown, Margaret Cross, Jan Desbois, Tracy Elder, Lynette Haley, Nancy Hinch, Kim Kandarian, Debbie Lloyd, June McElroy, Pam Manton, Cheryl Newbrough, Maria Pacina, Ann Peterson, Betty Petrowski, Mary Petrowski, Carla Ross, Sandy Schwant, Lori Seals, and Alice Thrift. Outstanding players included Cheryl Newbrough, Sandra Schwant, Betty Petrowski, and Cheryl Alexander. The boys' tennis team was comprised of Coach Richard Queering and team members James Brixey, Jerry Brixey, Chris Crichton, Richard Crane, Daryl Doms, Mike McGow, Mike Finley, Ken Gregory, Richard Greer, Randy Jenkins, Jonathan Grissom, Mark Harrigan, Ron Henry, Mark Newbrough, Bob Rensel, Peter Schmidt, Ray Scott, Randy Stokes, Kenny Surratt, Bill Harper, and Joe Blagg. The 1972 boys tennis team was Co-Valley champions. Foothill tied with West High School 21-21. This was the first Co-Valley championship ever won by a Foothill team. Mark Newbrough and Bill Harper defeated Redwood High School Visalia 6-1, 7-6 for the boys' doubles title. Cheryl Newbrough and Joe Blagg won the mixed doubles title. Cheryl was a sophomore and the youngest to win in tournament play. The boys' team had the first perfect season at Foothill High School, as well as the first back-to-back league titles in 1971 and 1972. The Trojans were led by the exceptional play of Mark Newbrough, Bill Harper, and Joe Blagg. Tonight we congratulate both the boys and the girls tennis team from 1972 upon your introduction into the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
And from that team, Cheryl Alexander, Shandy Sward, Romero, Jill Black, Bill Harper, Richard Greer, Randy Stokes, and Randy Jenkins. Come forward, please. Come forward, please, to get your medallions.
Wow, we're humbled. Thank you. It was 50 years ago when we played tennis together at Foothill under the coaching of Richard Quering, who was a strategic genius. We learned so much from him. Anyway, I still got the racket 50 years later. Back then, we worried about, whether our backhands were going to be good enough or we could serve a whole match. We lived, breathed, and ate tennis every day. We enjoyed it. We fought hard. We had no idea that we could win the Valley Championship, but we did it. And it was against a lot of odds because BHS was really strong in tennis. They had all the racket club guys down there. We were all from the south side of Tracks on Red Bank Road. And, we worried at the time about, how we could play tennis to impress the girls and, how to keep our parts straight. I finally figured out how to do that. It's a real honor, and we're humbled. Thank you very much.
Okay, this next inductee ran track and cross country from the class of 1993, Terry Hickey.
Terry Hickey, class of 1993. Terry has to be among a handful of the most outstanding athletes ever to wear Trojan black and gold. As one of Foothill High School's all-time premier track and cross-country athletes, Terry won numerous championships and set many impressive records. As a 3-year varsity letterman in cross-country and a 4-year letterman in track, Terry was a tenacious competitor. In cross-country, Terry was the Frosh Soft Kern Invitational champion, varsity Valley champion, that was the first Valley champion in the school's history, and placed 45th in state. His junior year, he was the Blade Invitational champion, the Hanford Invitational champion, 5th at SYL, 4th at Valley, 9th at Masters, and in his senior year, Foothill home course record holder for 3 miles at 14:57, 2nd at SYL at 15:02, 6th at Masters with a 15:57, and 12th at the state with 15:51, the best finish by a Foothill male runner at state in our history. His track statistics are equally impressive. Frosh Soft, a letter winner and most improved Frosh Soft athlete. His junior year, 2nd at the Pasadena Relays in the 800 with a time of 1:57.8. In the distance medley, 1 mile at 4:24. 1st in the 2-mile relay at San Joaquin Relays at 1:59.7. 1st in SYL mile at 4:31.8. 1st at area mile at 4:26.1. 3rd at Valley in the 1 mile at 4:25. At the state meet, 4:27. Senior year, Terry ran a 1:54.9.880, placed 2nd in the mile at the area and Valley, ran a 4:15 at the state qualifier, finishing in the top 3 qualifiers. He placed 7th in the mile at state with a time of 4:16, a school record, won the 1 mile at a time of 4:09.9 at an area qualifier for the Junior Olympics in Minnesota. After graduating from Foothill, Terry attended Bakersfield College, where he was a 2-year member of the WSC Conference Championship cross-country and track teams. Bakersfield College coach Bob Covey remembers Terry as one of BC's all-time top performers. Congratulations to Terry Hickey on his induction into the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
Terry Hickey, come on up.
I was just telling him I'm not a very good talker in front of large groups of people, but this is pretty cool. I mean, I don't feel very deserving of it for for the type of person that I am, but the things, the records that I set here at Foothill High School and the things that I did, they weren't necessarily for myself. The people have this understanding that cross country and track it's more for the individual type person. Well, I think that depends on the person, because the things that I did here, I did for my teammates, and I had some really, really good teammates, and I had some really good coaching. Coach Oliver's, I learned a lot from him, how to lead by example, not with your mouth. Don't talk about it, be about it. Work ethic. I'd like to thank my father, Larry, for helping me discover my passion for running. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, he took me out by Arvin, and he goes, "We need to figure out with this extra energy that you have, how to channel it." So, okay. So I ran from what would be considered Arvin all the way to GMRs in Edison. I was like, I'm pretty sure I was around 9 or 10, but I remember him telling my mother, "I've never seen anything like that." And I'd like to thank my mother, Linda, for showing me great work ethic and dedication to family. To my grandparents, Jack and Claire Ross, my grandfather, Jack Ross, was the recipient of the Sam Lynn Award in 1943 for the best athlete. It's given to the best athlete in Bakersfield each year. I was supposed to be a football player. And football didn't work out for me. It's kind of a joke, what we have, but my grandpa Jack always said, "Be the best at whatever it is that you do, no matter what that is." I'd like to thank Coach Oliver for showing me how to work hard and being a leadership, not talking about it, but doing it through hard work and through your actions. I'd also like to thank John Kunkel, who was a math teacher at Foothill High School in the early 90s. He was in a motorcycle accident, and he's no longer with us. But I didn't have qualifying grades to compete in my transition from football to track. And he let me retake my test, my algebra test, and I passed. And that passing grade got me into track and changed my life. And I met some really cool people. Thank you, Mr. Kunkel. I'd like to thank all my teammates and all the coaches I've had through the years. I had some really cool people to look up to when I was running. I was a sophomore on the varsity, and all the guys were older except for one, Eduardo. He was a freshman. I was an underclassman. John Oliver, James Oliver, Adam Setzer, John King, Doug Brown, Robert Corpus, Victor Trujillo, Sean McCabe, Travis Adamson. Those guys are all my big brothers, and I couldn't have a better group of people to help me learn how to be a better person. That's pretty awesome. Each one of you guys hold a special place in my heart and always will forever. I would like to thank the Foothill Hall of Fame Committee and Coach Oliver for nominating me and for my induction. That's pretty cool. I'd also like to say thanks to my kids, my wife and kids, Jana, for putting up with me for all this time and being here and being supportive. Thank you.
The next inductee was a wrestler and coach from 1964 to 1985, Grover Rains.
Grover Rains, 1964 to 1985. Grover's contribution to the sport of wrestling is monumental by anyone's standards. His love of wrestling began in the 8th grade at Stillwater Junior High School and continued through high school, where in 1944 he won the Oklahoma State High School Heavyweight Championship. In 1950, Grover placed second, and in 1951 he won the 177-pound weight class National Wrestling Championship, making Grover an All-American and securing another national championship for Oklahoma State University. In 1952, a year after starting his high school coaching career in Bristow, Oklahoma, Grover moved to Stillwater High School, where he led his team to a state championship title. In 1958, Grover relocated his family to Bakersfield, where he became the head wrestling coach at East Bakersfield High School. 2 years later, in 1960, he accepted a teaching and football coaching assignment at McFarland High School, where he also founded the school's wrestling program. Continuing to promote the sport of wrestling, in 1964-65, Grover became a founding member of the Kern County Wrestling Association, one of the premier junior wrestling programs in the country. In 1964, he transferred to Foothill High School, where he coached the wrestling team for the next 5 years. During his time at Foothill, Grover also promoted tournaments, refereed matches, and conducted wrestling clinics, attended by wrestlers who would go on to become high school and college coaches both locally and nationally. After Grover retired from the Kern High School District in 1985, he moved back to Stillwater, where he continued to promote wrestling. Culminating a 42-year wrestling career, in the year 2000, Grover was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. A few years later, in 2004, he was honored with the prestigious Gallagher Award, named after Edward C. Gallagher, the legendary head wrestling coach at Oklahoma A&M from 1916 to 1940. Since 1986, this award has been given to an OSU wrestling alumnus who exemplifies the spirit and leadership celebrated in the tradition of champions. Grover was also honored to have a youth wrestling program in Stillwater named after him. Without a doubt, during his lifetime, Grover influenced the lives of countless athletes and fellow coaches, leaving a lasting and enduring legacy. Congratulations to Grover Rains on your induction into the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
Grover Rains. Is his son Brian accepting? No, Brian? So move on. So we're going to move on. Okay, the next inductee played football, wrestling, and track, and was the class of 1993, Oscar Garza.
Oscar Garza, class of 1993. If there had been a Butkus Award for high school seniors in 1992, Oscar would have been a likely candidate. According to Dick Butkus, for whom this award is given, when a player receives the Butkus Award, he will know two things. First, he is the best of the best linebackers in America. Second, and in the long run, most important, he will understand that this recognition brings a responsibility to serve others by giving back. Clearly, Oscar met both criteria. Both his junior and senior years, he was selected All-City Lineman of the Year, All-SYL Defensive Player, Kern County Linebacker of the Year, and an All-Area Lineman on offense and defense. Moreover, as a varsity player, he played both ways and was on the special teams. In fact, he rarely came off the field during the entire game. His coaches and teammates credit Oscar for being the anchor of the 1992 team that helped Foothill reach their first playoff appearance in 10 years. Additionally, his senior year, Oscar was the Kern County Lift Champion with a bench press of 402 pounds, a 2-year letterman in wrestling as a heavyweight, and a member of the track team for 3 years, competing in the shot put and discus. During his 2 years at Bearsville College, Oscar quickly secured a starting position on the football team, earning all conference honors both years as a lineman. Because of his outstanding performance at Bearsville College, Oscar was awarded a full scholarship to San Jose State University, where once again he earned a starting position both his junior and senior years. Under the tutelage of legendary coach John Ralston, Oscar found his niche as a Spartan, and for his leadership and outstanding performance, he won the 110% award his senior year. After returning to Bakersfield, Oscar has been a special education teacher for the Kern High School District for the past 12 years, working with special needs students. He also coached football at Miramonte High School for 3 years. Oscar has been married to his wife Francine for 21 years and has 2 children, Elias, serving in the United States Navy, and Serena, a junior at Golden Valley High School. Tonight we congratulate Oscar Garza and welcome him into the Foothill High School
Come on up, Oscar.
Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone tonight. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to God, because without him, none of this would be possible. Second, I'd like to say to all the folks that have defended our nation, that served in the branches, you first responder, I want to say thank you to you. Without you, America wouldn't be what it is. My father was a Vietnam vet, so I got a lot of respect for you guys. Every time the Star Spangled Banner would play, I would see my uncle, who never made it back home from Vietnam. I would see his face next to the Star Spangled Banner, and I would say, I'm doing this for you, Uncle, keeping this in my family. Some folks I want to say thank you to. I had to type a little something here before I forget everybody, so excuse me. Let's see here. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, Dr. Baker, Vic, thank you for campaigning for me, my brother. Appreciate that. All the members, I appreciate everything that you guys have done for us tonight. All the inductees tonight, congratulations, Foothill Trojans. I'd also like to thank my teachers from Foothill, Mr. Hanley, Mr. Fontaine, Mr. Dalkey, Mr. Love, Ms. Jung, Ms. Zamora, and of course, Ms. G. There's some staff members I'd also like to thank. That would be Ms. Ojeda, Ms. Olguin, Smitty, and of course, Mr. Wesley Davis, who I'm very fortunate to see every day where I work at. I also like to thank Kern High School District for hiring me. I love what I do. Don't tell anybody. I'm very blessed to be where I'm at, but not only that, I share the program that I'm at with another Foothill graduate. And he's here tonight, man, so I'd like to thank you, brother. I'm very fortunate to be with you, man. It's my brother from another mother. I'd also like to thank Mr. Jaime Quinones for giving me that opportunity to coach at Miramonte. Coach Permitter, you did it for 50 years. I don't know how you could do it. I only could do it for 3. It was tough. I'd also like to thank Coach Jesse Toledo. Guided me while I was coaching at Miramonte. I appreciate that, Coach. I'd also like to thank my Foothill coaches, which were Coach Mike Dallas, Coach Alan Paradise, Coach Oliver, Coach Mark Richardson, Coach Mark Adini, Coach John Actis, Coach Manier, Coach Moore, Coach Bobby Zell, and of course, the GOAT, Ned Permitter. I never knew I had a connection with them, you know. All I heard about was Coach one time was a Wasco man, and that's where I was born. So I knew we were going to have a great time at Foothill. Not only was his name Ned, but my grandfather, his name is Nieves. In English, they'd call him Ned. So I looked up to this man and said, this is my grandfather, you know. I got to respect this man. But there was one thing that I learned with you, Coach, and this was back in the time when you could take rides with teachers and they take you in their own personal vehicles. You can't do that anymore. But we were driving the Golden West tournament, and it was that time I was sitting in the cab with Coach, and we're talking away, and he always would talk about, guards, you got to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And I'm being the smart aleck kid, and I say, hey, Coach, what happens when you run out of alphabet? This is when he looked at me and he said, that's when you turn it into numbers. They're infinite. So when he talks about perseverance, man, I said I could listen to this man. He's preaching the same thing my folks were preaching. It's perseverance. So thank you, Coach. I'd also like to thank my teammates, all the hogs, all the linemen, the guys that don't get the limelight, man. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So I have to say David Beard, Krista Mario, Reeford Foss, Justin Meeks, Anthony Cady, Jose Cordero, Javier Arambula, who's here tonight, Marcelo Cisneros, Ernesto Barone, Brad Hansen, David Luna, and countless other hogs. My boy Vic, man, I love to protect that man. Jay Weeby, Dustin Abernathy, Garrett Fontana, Jason Brown, Jerry Alarcon, Fabian Buckner, Rashawn Sheehy, Trey Scott, Aaron Straw, Jason Duncan, John Newton, Philip Dorado, and the Young Bucks, Daniel Fabella and Joey Porter, who got to play with us. All my teammates, thank you very much. But most importantly, I want to thank my family. My mom, for her example of perseverance. You were my first teacher, my first professor, and if I could, I'd give you that doctorate. Watching you be a Sunday school teacher inspired me to become a teacher myself, so thank you. For my dad, thank you for your strength, your spirit of competition, always telling me to play the game, do what's being asked of you. I remember my dad said, you want to be someone one day, do it on your own time. That means he wasn't going to be responsible. I had to take responsibility. But thank you for being my best friend as well, and for telling me to go give them hell, because that's what I did. To my brothers and my sisters, thank you. In like it, hakken. That means I'm with you and you are me. To my wife, Francine, thank you for 24 years. We've been on hold for 2 years, so I got a couple more years on that. For my kids, I love you guys. Elias and Serena, happy birthday, Serena. I love you. Thank you.
This next inductee was a coach and a huge contributor to FHS. From 1971 to 1985, Fred Acosta.
Fred Acosta, 1971 to 1985. Fred Acosta's contribution to Foothill High School and the Foothill community began in the early 70s when he joined Chuck Harriger, Dan Tessman, and Augie Cardiel as a coach for the Pirates, the Jack Frost football team that served as the feeder program to Foothill. For the next 17 years, Fred taught football fundamentals to what would eventually become some of Foothill's most recognizable performers. On any given day, Fred provided many of his players with rides to and from practice, and if a player needed a pair of shoes or a jersey, Fred made sure he received it. He was quick to offer words of encouragement to his young players and to keep them focused on sportsmanship while playing to win. In addition to coaching Jack Frost football, Fred also coached Foothill's JV football team, along with the Frosh Soft baseball team for several years. Throughout his time at Foothill, there was never any doubt that Fred believed in Foothill, supported Foothill, and passed along to his players his Trojan pride. Much of Fred's legacy is the result of the major role he played in building the football press box and subsequent weight room. Before state funds were made available, each school was responsible for raising the money to pay for their own school projects. The press box and weight room were no exception. Each of these projects required tremendous effort, took months to complete, and relied on donated materials and labor. Fred's contribution was paramount to their success. Additionally, Fred was responsible for building the varsity baseball dugouts and field house. No small feat considering the time, materials, and labor these projects required. Because of Fred's expertise in the building trades, he performed much of the work himself, while also getting others to join him in donating their money and labor. During this period in Foothill's history, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that these projects were built because of Fred Acosta. For much of the 70s and 80s, Fred and his wife Ann were proud members of the Foothill Athletic Booster Club, happy to do whatever was asked of them, never saying no to any request. Fred devoted his time, resources, and heart to the betterment of Foothill High School, a monumental achievement. Tonight we salute Fred Acosta and welcome him into the Foothill Hall of Fame.
Fred is no longer with us, but accepting for him is his grandson, Josh Acosta.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to the committee for the Foothill Hall of Fame. You guys are a class act, and it's truly a testament to all the hard work that goes into something like this. I've never been to one of the dinners here. I'd just like to give a round of applause for your guys' committee. Oscar, good speech. That was some good stuff, man. Congratulations. And congratulations to the rest of the inductees of, I guess we call it the 2020/21/22 class for the Foothill Hall of Fame. My grandfather would be truly honored to accept this award, but he did this on the love of not only working with kids, but working with what he called family. And it's a true testament because my dad's being inducted tonight. It's pretty special to not only accept on behalf of my grandfather, but to be up here and see my dad get inducted also. So I look forward to you being up here next, Dad, and getting to see what they got for you. Congratulations. I thought about some of the stuff I'd like to talk about for my grandfather tonight, and I just thought about all the time that we spent at Foothill with Coach Permenter. When I say Coach, that's who I think of Coach. Even though I didn't get a chance to play for you, I always wanted to. But you can blame my dad and my grandpa for moving me away. We would get off school and we'd go right to the Foothill. Like I went to Orangewood Elementary, went to Edison, Orangewood? And then I went to Edison Junior High. How about Edison? And then I was lucky enough to attend Foothill for my freshman year. But those younger years, we went from Orangewood and we went straight to the field. Whether it be baseball or football practice, that's all I knew. I grew up there as a family. And that carries over to what you guys are dealing with tonight. It is a very special thing to see what you guys put together here as far as family and what that's bled over 40, 50 years. So congratulations to what you guys do here. Lastly, everybody that I see, even tonight, between my dad and my grandpa, they coached him, they influenced him, they either, for good or for bad, worked with them when they were young. And they set some very high bars for me to follow, and I'll continue to push to be where, meet those standards that they set a long time ago for me. So thank you on behalf of not only my grandpa and my grandma, but the rest of my family. So thank you.
It's never happened before where we've had a father-son inducted in the same year, and so this is a pretty special time right now. The next inductee, he played football, baseball, and coached. The class of 1975, Steve Acosta.
Steve Acosta, class of 1975. Steve Acosta's football apprenticeship started well before he donned a Foothill uniform. As a member of the Pirates' Jack Frost football team, he learned the fundamentals of blocking and tackling from coaches like Chuck Harriger, Dan Tessman, Augie Cardiel, and his father, Fred Acosta. These formative years proved to be an invaluable training ground for the players of the early 70s. A standout junior varsity lineman his freshman year, Steve would soon develop into a force to be reckoned with on the gridiron. For the next 3 years, he played tight end and linebacker. And for his stellar performance, he was named All-City and All-League both his junior and senior years. He went on to be recognized as a Prep All-American, voted team captain his senior year, and awarded Who's Who All-American his senior year. He also has the unique distinction of playing on a Foothill football team that had a 3-year record of 27 wins and only 3 losses, winning 3 SYL league titles. Coach Ezell said that Steve was the best tight end I ever coached at Foothill. He was a premier player on a premier team. In addition to football, Steve played baseball for 3 years, earning a starting position on the varsity his junior year. He also was a member of Block F Club, Drama Club, Men of Troy, that was the men's choir, and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. After graduating from Foothill in 1975, Steve enrolled at the University of Utah, and after his first year as a Ute, was voted Best Freshman Lineman. Returning to Bakersfield the following year, Steve joined the Bakersfield College Renegades, where at the end of his first season, he was named Honorable Mention All-Conference Offensive Tackle. In 1977, Steve hung up his cleats to coach the Foothill High School Frosh Soft football team for a year, and then for the next 15 years, he coached the Pirates' Jack Frost football team, while also coaching at the Fairfax Baseball League for 12 years. When the call came out to help build the varsity baseball dugouts and utility room, Steve never hesitated for a minute. He joined his dad, Fred, and a host of others, volunteering his time, resources, and labor to make these projects a reality. In the history of Foothill High School, the name Acosta is renowned as a family that clearly stands out from all the rest for their generous contributions to the school's athletic programs. Congratulations to Steve Acosta on his induction into the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
Steve Acosta, come on up.
I'd like to say thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, and I'd like to thank you for my family and friends that showed up here tonight. I only see one of my high school coaches here. Coach Edmondson didn't make it, or Coach Ezell, but Coach Permenter that I played for, 3 years, he installed the good, hard work ethics. It carried on later on in life as a dad, husband, coach, and my own business. One story I want to tell about Coach my sophomore year. Coach, where are you? Right there? The day before my first game as a sophomore, he looked at me and said, Acosta, tomorrow night's going to be a bloodbath. I went home and told my dad, people are going to be in a bathtub taking a bloodbath tomorrow. So anyway, I see an ex-teammate here, Jeff Houghton, who went to USC. He could tell you stories about me, but he's not going to, I hope.
I'd like to say a special thanks to family and friends, and I'd like to say a special thanks to Dr. Baker for taking care of me and my family for over 40 years. Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to say another thanks to the Costa Masonry crew. They're here tonight. Harvey Rivas, Chuthi, and Greg Little. Thank you, you guys. Last but least, Teresa, my wife, stand up. Stand up. There's the real Hall of Famer. She's had to put up with me for 50 years. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Okay, the next inductee, she was a four-sport athlete: volleyball, soccer, softball, and track. Class of 1986, Janet Brown Esperqueta.
Janet Brown Esperqueta, class of 1986. Among some of the most outstanding athletes ever to wear a Foothill Trojan uniform, Janet ranks at the top of the list. During her 4 years at Foothill, she played volleyball, soccer, softball, and ran track. She began her freshman year playing on the junior varsity volleyball team, and while perhaps not her favorite sport, she would continue playing volleyball through her junior year. As a freshman, Janet was also a member of the track team. During her freshman year, she was ranked 7th in the nation for the track and field heptathlon, 1st in the state and 1st in the regionals heptathlon, and qualified for the Olympics in Memphis, Tennessee on the AAU USA team. Her sophomore year, she shifted her focus from track to softball, and for the next 3 years, she accumulated an impressive softball resume. A 3-year varsity starter, Janet was an all-area selection, team captain, and the team's MVP both her junior and senior years. She also earned the team's highest batting average, hitting over 400 those 2 years, as well as led the team in stolen bases her sophomore and junior years. Turning her sights to soccer, Janet completed her athletic high school resume as a 4-year varsity starter, where she was a 3-time team captain, 3-time all-area selection, 3-time All-Star, 2-time MVP both her freshman and sophomore years, led the team in scoring her freshman and sophomore years, and was the recipient of the Coaches Award her senior year. Additionally, away from athletics, Janet was busy stockpiling other accomplishments. Her senior year, Congressman Bill Thomas nominated her to attend West Point. She was elected ASB Athletic Commissioner her sophomore year and Commissioner of Publicity her junior year. She was on the journalism staff all 4 years, a member of Block F, and her senior year she received the Ann B. Elkins Award. In the years after graduating from Foothill, Janet coached the Foothill Junior Varsity softball team from 2000 to 2004. In keeping with the Trojan spirit, Janet coordinates an annual Foothill High School Lady Trojan alumni softball game. She currently works in the special needs pre-K program at the Kern County Superintendent of Schools. Tonight we say congratulations to Janet and welcome to the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
Come on up, Janet. Where's she at?
Here. I want to thank the Hall of Fame, Michelle Mills for campaigning. A lot of these things that I did were team sports, and I couldn't have done them without the sisters that played softball with me, the soccer player sisters, and just my teammates and everything. Sports was fun to me. It was just something I did. It's not something that I worked real hard at. It just kept me away from having to go home and do other things. So It was good. I had good teachers. Miss Graves, if you're here, thank you for getting me through algebra because it took 3 years. I just couldn't get it. Miss G, she was ahead of her time, I think, because she said the same words that Rocky would say. She said, Janet, you know what you're worth, so go get it. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And being 4'11" and back then 110 pounds, it was tough. So Foothill is family. I've got 2 tables right there, family, and it's just what it is. I've got a lot of forever friends that I made at Foothill, and, you know, I've been blessed with a good life. My daughters, 2 of them are here. The 2 babies are at home. Yes, I have 2 babies. I have an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old at home. And I want to thank my husband, who, because he went through it all with me. We've been together since we were 13 years old. So 41 years we've been together, and he's been beside me and loves me unconditionally, and that's a great thing. So thank you all very much.
Okay, I have a little story before the next inductee. So I do a lot of work out of town, and I'm always asked, where are you from anyway? And I proudly say Bakersfield. And then they say to me, well, I thought you were from LA. And I say, no, you know, the quality and craftsmanship that comes out of Bakersfield is amazing. And it's some of the best people in the world. And that leads me, this is a perfect example of our next inductee, Benjamin Victor, class of 1997.
Benjamin Victor, class of 1997. After high school, Benjamin enrolled in Northern State University, Aberdeen, South Dakota, where he studied art and sculpture. Victor's first work to receive attention was a life-size statue of the biblical character Samson, sculpted when the artist was a sophomore art major. This piece earned Victor a scholarship in recognition of his aesthetic and conceptual integrity from the prestigious National Sculpture Society in New York City. At age 23, Victor was commissioned to produce his proposal of a trio of soldiers for the Aberdeen Regional Airport War Memorial in South Dakota. In the time since, Victor has completed numerous commissions from cities, institutions, and nonprofits for public artworks throughout the West and Midwest, often to commemorate individuals or groups. In 2005, at age 26, he was commissioned by the state of Nevada to create sculptures of Sarah Winnemucca, the 19th century Paiute activist, one for installation at its state capitol, and one to be installed at one of Nevada's official works in the United States Statuary Hall in the United States Capitol building, making him the youngest artist ever to have a statue in Statuary Hall. In 2010, Ben completed the Taft Monument to Oil Workers, which is the largest bronze sculpture in California. In 2019, he became the only living artist to have 3 works in Statuary Hall at the same time. A sample of his astounding accomplishments include Bob Hoover, Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, Chief Standing Bear, Centennial Mall, Lincoln, Nebraska, Coach Jim Valvano, North Carolina State Reynolds Coliseum, Kansas State Monument to Firefighters, Topeka, Kansas, Robert the Bruce at Linlithgow, Scotland, and Monument to World War II Airmen, Boise, Idaho. Art critics and organizations continue to recognize the aesthetic and conceptual integrity of Benjamin's artwork, with striking resemblance and minute detail to his subjects. Each of Benjamin's artistic creations is the result of his passion and profound vision. Echoing the thoughts of others, his creations are sure to be compared to Michelangelo, Bernini, and Rodin, as Benjamin takes his place among the greats in art history. He is currently artist in residence and professor of the practice at Boise State University. Congratulations to Benjamin Victor on his induction into the Foothill High School Hall of Fame.
Benjamin Victor.
What an honor. Wow, what a night, too. With all these inductees, I just, you feel kind of humbled even to be up here with everyone today. And I learned a lot of great lessons at Foothill. I played basketball for Foothill, and actually when they called me to be in the Hall of Fame here, I thought, finally, they're recognizing my basketball skills. About time. No, but seriously, I played for Coach Brett Selby, and I saw him here tonight. And our team, there he is in the back, our team had a really rough season. But I remember that Coach Selby gave us some great life lessons, and it's really carried over into my career. He pulled us to center court one day at practice, and he said to us, guys, I was driving down Union Avenue, and I saw one of my players from when we won the championship at Garces High. And he was standing out there on Union with alcohol in a paper bag. And he said, I don't want you guys to turn out like that. I don't care how many games you win. I want you to win in life. I want you to do the right thing and make the right decisions. And that really stuck with me. And there's just so many lessons like that I learned in my time at Foothill High. And I know that Mrs. Gillarducci's family, I'm sorry if I get a little emotional, but I know Mrs. G's family's here tonight. And I know we lost her very recently. But I was fortunate enough to have her as an art teacher. And she always gave me confidence as an artist. So it's really an honor to accept this award tonight. And really kind of on her behalf and her family's behalf. Because she was one of those influences earlier on in my life as an artist. And she gave me confidence and critiques in my artwork that really carried through all the way into my career today. I'd like to also thank all the teachers who gave so much of their time and energy and effort to all of their students. I think with all the accomplishments that I've been blessed enough and fortunate enough to have, and my artworks, just all around the world and in these places that I never thought I'd have work and never thought I'd even be able to do this as a career. And I think back, and really it's a win for all of those teachers who are unsung heroes in all of our lives. I think about all the inductees tonight, and they looked out at their coaches and teachers, and they said, thank you, just as I am. Because those teachers pour into your lives, and I want you teachers to know that when you do that, it isn't forgotten and it's not wasted. That all these accomplishments that all your many, many students go on and make in the world, and they make changes around the world, those changes are thanks to you. So thank you for putting in that time and energy into all of us. And finally, there's a few groups I need to thank tonight. First of all, these groups were people that made sure that my work wasn't just around the world, but that it'd be here in Kern County. And the first of those is the Committee for the Taft Oil Worker Monument. And I have a representative here today, a good friend of mine, Dave Knorr, who's the mayor of Taft, California. Great guy. They believed in me to create the work of art for Taft, and if you haven't been out there, please make the short drive out there and take a look at the artwork. You won't regret it. And then one of my most recent sculptures is right here in Bakersfield at CSUB of the Roadrunner. And President Zelensky couldn't be here tonight, but she sent her regrets, and she said, thank you for the invite. And it was very important to her to make sure that someone from Bakersfield got to do the piece for Cal State. So that was a great honor. And right now, I'm working on a monument for our World War II veterans from Kern County. We have 5 members from the World War II Memorial Committee, and they're working on a beautiful design that's going to be at Jastrow Park to honor our World War II veterans. And thank you. It's going to feature a bronze sculpture, and so please talk to them. If you get a chance, they're back at table 16 about how you can support that monument. It's a very worthy cause. And finally, I have to thank my parents, Joyce and Jeff Victor. Both are lifelong teachers. My mom worked for BCSD for 28 years, and she works for Cal State now and has for about 4 years. My dad has taught as a high school teacher for 25 years, and now he's served the community as president of Summit Bible College for 26 years right here in Bakersfield. And they give all over the community. If you haven't heard of Summit Bible, they're giving all the time to various causes, and it's just a great place and a benefit to the community. And I'd also like to thank my wife, Paige, and my family, and Foothill High School. This community has been a great support to me, not only in my upbringing, but even now in my professional career, and I really appreciate it, and I appreciate tonight. Thank you all.
The next inductee played baseball, football, and he was our chief of police. Class of 1966, Steve Brummer.
Steve Brummer, class of 1966. Steve's love of baseball started as a youngster, playing in the JBA Junior Baseball League behind Sam Lynn Ballpark in the late 1950s. And his dream of playing collegiate and maybe professional baseball continued through junior high school and on into high school. While he made his mark in high school as a baseball player, he also played on the football team his junior and senior years. His senior year, he played quarterback as well as on special teams, and being a member of the 1965 SYL Championship football team, a team that defeated BHS 12-9 in the final game of the season, was the highlight of his football tenure. But his first love was playing baseball, and it was with great anticipation that Steve looked forward to the start of baseball season every spring. While he played all 4 years, it was his junior and senior years in which he really excelled. Both years, he was selected All-City as a catcher. His senior year, he was voted Most Valuable Player on the team and was Foothill's leading hitter with a .386 batting average and was 1/1000th of a point short of claiming the city batting title for the 1966 season. Additionally, Steve was selected the Harry Coffey Outstanding Baseball Player for both the 65 and 66 seasons. After graduating from Foothill, Steve played 2 years at Bakersfield College, where he was selected All-Metro Conference as catcher. His junior year, he was the starting catcher for the Cal Poly San Luis Obispo Mustangs. Unfortunately, his senior year, he suffered a shoulder injury, ending his collegiate baseball career. After graduating from Cal Poly, Steve joined the Bakersfield Police Department, where he spent the next 27 years. In 1992, he was appointed Bakersfield Police Chief, a position he held until 1999, when he decided to retire from the department. During his time as chief, Steve spearheaded the construction of the Police Activities League building and youth programs that to this day continue to provide athletic and academic programs for hundreds of youth in the Bakersfield community. This project was the highlight of his career and is still one of his proudest accomplishments. Soon after retiring, Steve and his wife Paula moved to Reno, Nevada, where, among other pursuits, he has served as Sergeant at Arms for the Nevada State Legislature for the past 13 years. Tonight we say congratulations to Steve Brummer and welcome to the Foothill Hall of Fame.
Steve Brummer.
Wow, thank you. To quote the legendary New York Yankee Mickey Mantle, who once said, "If I knew I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself." I am so proud to be here this evening. To be able to join such a distinguished group of honorees is something that I value and treasure and will be a lasting memory for me. You know, when we came here this evening, I was inviting all of my family, and because I don't know of any recognition that is more appreciated than to be in the presence of your family, your wife and kids. Well, they're all here. My wife, Paula, who represents the Foothill class of 1968. Yeah, I fell in love with her in 1966. Anyway, she's been with me for 54 years, and thank you very much. And I'm just extremely proud of her and my children. And so I'm going to take the time to introduce them. My oldest daughter, Jennifer, who hails from North Texas. She came out here especially to witness this presentation and this occasion. I apologize for being emotional, but all of my children have traveled a great distance to be here this evening, and I know of no higher compliment I could receive than to have them present in the witness of this occasion, and I'm very thankful for that. My son, Kirk, and his wife, Michelle, are here. My daughter, Katie, is with us. My granddaughter, Peyton, and her guest, Jake, have come from afar to be in our presence, and I'm grateful. I'm most thankful for that, and I take a lot of pride in that. As a matter of fact, all of my children have graduated from the California university system. They're all productive. They're all good people, and as a father, I couldn't be more proud. So, with that, I want to thank them for being here, and I want to thank all of you. In addition, just as an observation this evening, I had prepared some statements, but as you can tell, I've merged away from them because of some observations I made. One of the observations I made this evening, my children commented on it, was the fact that this is a quality event. You know, this puts the Academy Awards to shame. And I honestly believe that those folks could learn a heck of a lot from what goes on here. And so I commend everyone who is here. I want to thank the committee and all of those folks who are responsible not only for this award, but for putting on this event this evening. I know I speak for everyone here. Foothill High School has a legacy of quality, of outstanding students, of faculty, and I think that this event tonight represents the tradition and the quality of Foothill High School. And I am proud to say that I'm a 1966 graduate of that school. I want to go on and thank a lot of people, but I want to do it in such a way that I don't bore you. My foundation at Foothill High School was in an incredible, memorable experience. I was a member of the first class, first four-year class in 1962. When I entered, I had transferred from another high school. I knew nobody. But my first day when I was in study hall, and Jack Israel, who was a study hall teacher then, some of you may remember, he welcomed me to the school. He showed me around, and from that moment on, it was one friendship after another. And the experience, the 4 years that I spent at Foothill, while there were some people I didn't care for, I never had an enemy. I never got in a fight, and I used to fight at home with all my brothers and sisters all the time, and I never had a fight. And I mean, just a quality institution, and I'm so proud to say that I graduated from Foothill High School. I want to, in closing, thank my parents. They were good parents, good quality Christian people, and they set an example for me that I tried, often failed, but tried to follow. And I thank them and all of my siblings who were very supportive of everything I did, my successes and my failures. They continued to encourage me, as one of them is here this evening, my brother Mike, and I appreciate him being with us because he's a big guy and he'll whip you if you mess with him. So I thank him for being here. But at any rate, thank you all very much. And again, thank the committee. And also, before I leave, I want to pay a special tribute to a man who's been mentioned a number of times this evening, Coach Ned Permenter. Where are you? This guy, you know, you can understand why he's a legend in local coaching. As a matter of fact, he was my first varsity baseball coach. He wasn't the head football coach my first year, and I think he may have missed his calling. He was a great baseball coach, and I appreciate the fact I got to play football and baseball for him. So with that, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here this evening and accept this award. Thank you.
Okay, the next inductee was a football player and ran track from the class of 1971, Mike Haley.
Mike Haley, class of 1971. As a 3-year starter on the varsity football team, Mike worked hard each game to improve his skills as a running back and as a football player. Coming at a most inopportune time, prior to his senior year, he broke his leg and was forced to sit out much of the season. When he was finally cleared to play, he more than made up for the games he had missed. Against BHS, Mike put on a one-man show of ball control, rushing for 133 yards on 34 carries, and scoring 2 touchdowns to help defeat the Drillers 27-0. For his outstanding performance, he was named Prep of the Week, and at the end of the season, he was selected All-City running back as well as the Harry Coffey Outstanding Football Athlete for 1970. That same year, he was chosen to play in the All-Star Aloha Bowl in Hawaii. Adding to his resume, Mike put his athletic talents to work for the track team. He held the discus record at over 180 feet until Lonnie Shelton came along and rewrote the record books. Lettering in both football and track, Mike made significant contributions to both sports. Fresh out of high school, Mike joined the Cal freshman football team in 1971, the last year of the freshman varsity system in the NCAA Division I sports programs. Because of his outstanding performance that year, Mike was called up at the end of the freshman season to play on the varsity for their remaining games, an honor afforded to only 4 freshman players. In the 71 big game against Stanford, Mike was on the kickoff and kick return teams and had the distinction of making the very first tackle of the game. For the 1972 season, Mike lettered varsity at outside linebacker, having started in 3 games that year. Although Cal did beat Stanford that year, the team turned in a disappointing 3-8 record under new coach White. It was during training camp the next summer, 1973, that Mike made the decision to leave the team and Cal. Not sure what to do, he visited other campuses and took some time off from football. Encouraged by a close friend, he decided to join the Kilted Bears of the University of California at Riverside on their football team. He played for UCR for 2 seasons, was selected defensive captain both years, and helped the team win the conference championship his senior year. And looking back at his football career, Mike credits Coach Permenter as the greatest coach he ever played for. In addition to football, Mike was an avid rugby player during his time at UCR, as well as when he returned home to Kern County. After graduating from UCR in 1975, Mike returned to Bakersfield, where he's lived and worked since. Congratulations to Mike Haley on your induction into the Foothill High School
Mike
Hall of Fame.
Haley.
Whoa. I'm going to answer the question of the evening. Do you remember? And I've got about as much memory left as testosterone. And I said, I think I do. I think I do. I see out here, there's a lot of backyard carpenters. And when you're making a measurement, you call it out to the guy that's cutting, and you can say, hey, it's 76 inches and a half weak, or 76 inches and a half strong. But if it's right on there, you go 76 and a half inches true. And I can say that when I played at Foothill, I played true, 100%. And it was easy because every guy that I played with, regardless of their abilities, played true too. Everybody gave 100% on every play in every game. And I'm proud of those guys. My wife is here. And just before I came up, she goes, I'm so proud of you. But it wasn't for the ring or the plaque. It's that I didn't get gravy or anything on my... So there were three reasons I think that I could play 100% on every play. One was that my teammates played 100%. So you get involved in that. You get caught up in that spirit. The second was I loved football. I just loved that sport. I still do today. It just seemed like that's a thing that fit for me. And the third reason is Dan Permitter. Sorry, testosterone loss. The idea that I would do anything to make that guy frown was just abhorrent to me, and I wanted to do everything that I could on the field to make him proud. And because of him, I get to wear this ring, take this plaque home. Thanks so much.
Well, we're down to our last inductee. This inductee, I've known for him and his family for 45 years. I was counting that up the other day. And it couldn't be given to a more deserving guy. He played football, basketball, baseball, track, and he's done a ton for our community. From the class of 1974, Mike Maggard.
Mike Maggard, class of 1974. Mike Maggard graduated from Foothill High School in 1974. He was active in sports throughout high school, starting at tight end for the 1972 and 1973 SYL champion Trojan football teams. He was blessed and honored to receive the revered John McLemore Award, as well as recognized as the Outstanding Student Leader football player his senior year. Mike also participated in basketball, baseball, and track, and was a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Additionally, he was elected Associated Student Body President his senior year. After graduating from Bakersfield College in 1976 and CSUB in 1978 with a bachelor's degree in business administration, Mike became a certified public accountant, founding Maggard & Company in 1982, which he still owns today. Born in Bakersfield and always committed to improving the quality of life for everyone, Mike has been honored and blessed to have been elected to the Bakersfield City School District Board of Trustees, the Bakersfield City Council Ward 3, and currently serves as Kern County 3rd District Supervisor, first elected in 2006. During his professional career, Mike has received recognition for his civic and community involvement. Most notably, he was inducted into the Bakersfield City School District Hall of Fame in 2012 and the CSUB Hall of Fame in 2016. Furthermore, Mike served on many community boards and organizations, including President of the Bakersfield Homeless Shelter, Director of the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce, Chairman of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, Director of the Kern Economic Development Corporation, Vice Mayor for the City of Bakersfield, and Chairman of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. As a boy growing up in East Bakersfield, Mike couldn't have imagined God could have blessed him in so many ways. He credits his years at Foothill as a time during which an abundance of possibilities were made available to him. He is quick to thank his coaches, teachers, counselors, and teammates who, along with his parents, taught him that preparation, perseverance, and hard work are the foundation for success. Mike is married to his high school sweetheart, Mary Wilson Maggard, a 1974 grad. They have 2 sons and a grandchild. Welcome, Mike Maggard, to the Foothill Hall of Fame.
Mike Maggard. Wow. I know there's this commonly held thought that the reason we were delayed for 2 years was because of COVID. Well, that's not exactly correct. The real reason that we were delayed for 2 years was it took Ned Perminer 2 extra years to find any footage of me catching a pass on a football team. But Ned, you persevered, and I'm grateful. Thank you. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for blessing me with this nomination, inducting me into the Hall of Fame. I'm very, very grateful for that. So thank you guys very much. I want to congratulate all the other inductees, and I'm honored to be in your company this evening, and also the company of all those who have been inducted before us. So thank you for that. I've asked myself over and over why this is so meaningful. And it comes down to this. Most of us in this room come from the same hardscrabble, tough neighborhoods. And we didn't have very much going for us when we were kids growing up in East Bakersfield. And when I was a freshman and went out for the football team, I remember being on the field with guys that were bigger, stronger. One of the first guys I ever met was Mike Haley. And he missed me once, and he killed me the second time. So, you know, you're just intimidated by those things. But what this means, the reason I think this is so meaningful is it means in spite of all the things that we had to overcome in life, life's turned out pretty good. And I'm really grateful for that. And I know you guys are grateful for that you're their inductees. I'd like to thank some people for what they've meant in my life. I am not the only person here who loves Ned Perminer, but I love Ned Perminer. I would do anything for Ned Perminer. He taught us to never quit.
He taught us to never be intimidated, to always prepare more than the person you're facing up against. He taught us that when we would win, and we were blessed to win a lot back then, you always win gracefully. And if you lose, if you must lose, you must do it with dignity. All those are lessons I learned from Ned Permenter, and I will never forget him for that. Next, Dave Edmondson. I understand Dave's not here tonight, but there was a time in high school related to football when Dave, he would never even remember that he said these things, but without boring you with the details, he singled me out in a crowd and made me realize something about myself I didn't yet know. And I will always be grateful to Dave Edmondson for the demanding guy that he was and what he was able to get out of me. Jerry Robinson. Many of us know Jerry Robinson. He was a humble, gentle, kind man who could see potential in kids, and he went out of his way to encourage me, and I miss Jerry Robinson. I wish he could be here tonight. Next, I want to thank George Winkler. Anybody remember Mr. Winkler from Foothill? He was my senior counselor, and I'll tell you more about him in just a minute. And I want to thank Harville Pollard. Where's Harville in the room? Harville, where are you sitting? Yeah, back there, Harville. I didn't know this for 40 years after I graduated, but it was Harville Pollard who paid for the scholarship that went with the McLemore Award. He's the guy that paid that. And I didn't know that till we were having pizza one night at some place talking about Hall of Fame stuff, and it was Harville who did that. That award became transformational in my life, and Harville had a big hand in sustaining it over the years, so I want to thank Harville for that. I want to thank God who has so richly blessed my life, and he concluded, because it sure wasn't me that did anything to earn it, but I was worth the sacrifice, and I'm grateful for that. I could never do as good a job as Steve did about thanking his family, but I want to take a moment and thank my family. Tomorrow is the 49th anniversary of my going steady with my wife. During our junior year of high school, we became a couple, and Mary, you've taken every leap with me. You put it all on the table, and we've put it all at risk, and you've taken every step with me. I'm grateful for that, so thank you, sweetheart. I love you. My kids are with me tonight, my older son, Jacob, and his lovely wife, Amber. They have come here all the way from Missouri. Thank you very much for coming to be here for this. And my younger son, Andrew, his wife, Rebecca, and our only grandchild so far, Reese, are still in Virginia. But thank you for taking the time to come out here. I have much more of my extended family here at this table, and at that table over there, my friends. Every person who's here is here. I ask you to be here because you played a pivotal role in my life in those days, and I'm grateful to each of you. And some of you still are engaged in that way with me, so thank you very much for that. My dad was not an educated man, but he had a lot of street smarts. And he taught me some lessons that he learned on the street and that he hoped I wouldn't have to learn. My dad put me in the truck with him one day, and he drove me around on a hot, glistening hot summer day in Bakersfield. Sweat dripping down our, we didn't have air conditioning in this truck. Sweat, dripping down, you know the feeling, right, if you grew up here. Sweat dripping down our faces, shirts getting all sweaty and stinky. And he drove me by some job sites, the same job sites that my dad worked on. And he said, see that guy right there? And there was this older fella, and he was walking with a big load of lumber on his shoulder. And he was stooped over from that lumber and was just sweating like a dog. And hitting it hard for all afternoon long. He said, these are honorable men, and they work hard every day. And you can do this if you want, but you can do something else if you want. So you think about what you want to do, and I'm grateful that my dad encouraged me to think about what else that might be. So I thought I wanted to be a dentist because I heard, where's John Alexander? I heard that dentists only have to work 4 days a week. 3 days a week. I should have stayed the course of the dental thing. They make lots of money. It's a great job. I thought I wanted to work in an air-conditioned world, but it became apparent when football season was over that nobody was going to invite Mike Maggard to play college football. And nobody was going to, there was no scholarship coming. There were that wasn't going to happen in my life. And my parents were not in a position to help. I didn't know anyone who could give me a nickel to pay for school. So the idea of being a dentist probably wasn't going to happen. So that's where Mr. Winkler comes in. Mr. Winkler was my high school counselor. And he says, Mike, what would you like to do in life? Boy, Mr. Winkler, I think I might want to be a dentist. And he looked at me and he said, hey, my brother's a CPA. I said, Mr. Winkler, what's a CPA? I didn't know what that was. I knew one guy in my whole life that graduated from college. My dad had one friend who did that. So I didn't know what that was. And he said, you could go to school for 4 years. 2 years after you graduate from college, you could have your own practice and you could have your own business and be out there. And you could go to school at BC and at Cal State and never have to go away. You could afford to do that, Mike. That was the birth of a dream. And that's what high school, I think, does for us. It's where dreams begin to become formalized and you get an idea of what you can do. Well, I'll always be grateful to Mr. Winkler for taking the time to plant the dream in my heart that I might be able to do something that I didn't know was possible. And I didn't know how to get there, but Mr. Winkler showed me how I could do that. I told you all of that to tell you this. Foothill represents the brief 4-year period in our lives in which dreams were given birth. And the path to their realization came into focus for the first time for many, many of us. The light came on, and now looking back, we realize how different life could be. It could be way different than it is now, and how blessed we are. That's why the Foothill Hall of Fame exists. I want to close with this. It's not to create moments when old guys can stand on a stage and tell stories about how fun it was way back when. We can tell some fun stories, but that's not why we do this. We remember what it was like to be those young kids walking those halls, coming from the neighborhoods that we came from. And today there are kids just like us sitting in the same seats, in the same classrooms, walking down the same halls, and playing on the same fields that we did. And our goal is for them to have the light come on and somebody give them the birth of a dream, and they might have a life that they don't know is possible today. So that's why we do this. Thank you. That's why I'm grateful, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. So thank you all very much. God bless.
Wow, that was awesome. So I didn't have to press the button. No one rushed the stage. So did you have something else you wanted to say? Yeah, let's stand up and give everyone a standing ovation. It was a wonderful evening. We want to thank everyone that came tonight on behalf of the Foothill Hall of Fame Committee. Thanks for supporting the Hall of Fame, and we want you to drive safe. Don't drive if you've drank too much. We'll see you next year, and go Trojans.